Chapter 2687, 2687 Gathering of Kings. 2687 Gathering of Kings. The sect master of the academy had a calm expression and was neither flustered nor surprised by Xueqi's questions. He merely looked at him quietly. Ha 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 ha. Right then, laughter sounded from outside the hall. Immediately after, a deep voice sounded. Young man, you're wrong about something. The person who intercepted you on the way back was not arranged by the sect master of the academy, but by me. Xueqi turned slightly and looked over. A man in a brocade robe was entering the hall. That person's gaze was burning and he exuded an incomparably scorching aura. The moment he entered the hall, the surrounding temperature rose rapidly. This person exuded an extremely powerful spirit consciousness pressure. The spirit consciousness pressure was definitely not something that perfected immortal experts could emit. Furthermore, this was heaven and earth palace of the academy, and not a place that perfected immortal experts could enter casually. It was an immortal king expert. Xueqi frowned slightly. He had never seen this person before, and he was not one of the grand elders of the academy. As though he could tell that Xueqi was puzzled, the man smiled gently. Let me introduce myself. I'm the master of the Yen-Yang Immortal Kingdom. Xueqi's heart skipped a beat. Immortal King Yen-Yang. Why did you want to kill me? Xueqi asked. Immortal King Yen-Yang smiled gently. Back then, you obtained an opportunity in my Yen-Yang Immortal Kingdom's Parasol Tree secret ground and broke through to the Heaven Essence Realm. The moment you entered the Heaven Essence Realm, your Green Lotus bloodline was leaked and I sensed it. A look of realization flashed through Xueqi's eyes. Under normal circumstances, as long as he was careful, his blood chi would not leak when breaking through a minor cultivation realm. However, at the same time as his major cultivation realm broke through, the Green Lotus true body grew and its grade increased as well. At that time, he had entered the Heaven Essence Realm and the Green Lotus true body had just grown to grade 11. That was the reason why his blood chi was exposed. Xueqi did not expect that he would be discovered even though he was in the Parasol Tree secret ground. The sect master of the academy looked at Xueqi and shook his head gently, seemingly in a reproachful manner. You were too careless. It's not entirely his fault either. Immortal King Yen-Yang said, at that time, his performance on the Earth ranking was way too eye-catching. Throughout history, no one has been able to achieve his achievements. Even Foam Cantillon from hundreds of thousands of years ago was far inferior to him even though he was also rank 1 on the Earth ranking. Therefore after the Earth ranking ended, I targeted him. What happened after that was that Immortal King Yen-Yang noticed Xueqi's breakthrough in the Parasol Tree secret ground. Immortal King Yen-Yang continued, actually, I only had a rough guess at that time, but I wasn't sure. Therefore, I intercepted you. However, my intention was not really to kill you, but to test the sect master of the academy. And of course as expected, hee. If you have the Green Lotus bloodline, the sect master of the academy will definitely protect you. In the territory of the Divine Firmament Immortal Domain, the sect master of the academy knows everything. If I tried to kill you, he would definitely step in to stop me. The sect master of the academy smiled without saying anything as a form of silent agreement. Xueqi laughed self-deprecatingly. Therefore after that exchange, the two of you had already discussed that you would wait for my Green Lotus true body to grow to the peak of grade 12. Of course. Immortal King Yen-Yang smiled. Since I discovered this secret, I naturally have to take a share of the loot. Humph. Another voice suddenly sounded from the hall. Immediately after, another white-robed man walked in and said coldly, I've long said that there's no need for us to waste our breaths on this brat. Once he grows to grade 12, all we have to do is split him up equally. Xueqi was way too familiar with that voice. King Yunyu. Xueqi looked at the person and narrowed his eyes slightly. The moment King Yunyu entered the hall, he glanced at Xueqi as well with a mocking expression. Brat, you didn't expect this, did you? How can a lowlife like you escape from me? The sect master of the academy was not surprised by King Yunyu's arrival either. The sect master of the academy said indifferently, Initially, I thought that he would know how to repay gratitude and I didn't want to fall out with him either. To think that things would turn out this way. Foo-foo. At the end of the day, He's still not a person suitable to be nurtured. Right then, a door opened behind the two Dao children and a one-armed man wrapped in gauze with bloodstains walked out, emitting a rancid aura. Sword Immortal Yu Hua. Sword Immortal Yu Hua's condition was even worse than Su Zimo had imagined. Eternal damnation still caused him immense damage. Even with the power of the sect master of the academy, his life was only barely saved. Sword Immortal Yu Hua glared at Su Zimo fiercely and gritted his teeth. Su Zimo, to think that you would have such a day as well. Fu. Su Zimo looked at Sword Immortal Yu Hua's tragic state and sneered. You don't have to laugh. Sword Immortal Yu Hua said hatefully, your outcome will be even worse than mine later on. The sect master of the academy looked at Su Zimo and said indifferently, all these years, you must have been wondering why I did not punish Sword Immortal Yu Hua severely despite him targeting you repeatedly. Su Zimo merely sneered and remained silent. Over the years, he had clashed with Sword Immortal Yu Hua a few times. At the Divine Firmament Immortal Meet, Sword Immortal Yu Hua even joined forces with outsiders to slander him as somebody from another race and wanted to kill him. Even after committing such a serious crime, the sect master of the academy merely brushed it off with a few words. The sect master of the academy said self-consciously, it's simple, because he's obedient. With that said, Sword Immortal Yu Hua ran over hurriedly and knelt obediently at the feet of the sect master of the academy, prostrating on the ground respectfully. Yes. The sect master of the academy was very satisfied and stroked the top of Sword Immortal Yu Hua's head gently, as though he was stroking a dog covered in injuries. The sect master of the academy said, you're very talented and have great potential. Everything about you surpasses Yu Hua, but you're not obedient enough. What's the use of you being talented with great potential if you're not obedient and can't be used by me? Su Zimo smiled and asked, therefore, the standard for the academy to recruit disciples is not based on talent or character, but on whether he's obedient. Of course. The sect master of the academy smiled indifferently. Su Zimo surveyed his surroundings. You're not the only ones here today, right? Who else is there? Why don't you all show yourselves and let me take a look? Little bastard, it's time for you to pay with your life. Right then, another voice sounded, filled with killing intent and resounding like metal clashing. Su Zimo turned around. A tall black-robed man walked into the hall slowly. He had a resolute expression and narrow eyes, exuding a cold killing intent with a terrifying aura. It was another Immortal King expert. And you are? Su Zimo raised his brow and asked. The sect master of the academy said, you once killed his son in Absolute Thunder City. Prince Yuan Zhua. King Jin had arrived. Chapter 2688. 2688 Extermination. 2688 Extermination. Su Zimo was rather surprised by the appearance of King Jin. When did you find out? Su Zimo raised his brow slightly. Initially, he thought that he was already careful enough to think that the secret of the Green Lotus true body had long been exposed. The sense of danger that he occasionally felt previously was not an illusion. It should be from the surveillance of these Immortal King experts. The last time I came to Heaven and Earth Academy to interrogate you, King Jin said coldly, you raised Absolute Thunder City and killed my child, Yuan Zhua. If not for the news of your Green Lotus bloodline, how could I have let you off so easily and let you live till today? Su Zimo frowned slightly, feeling that something was amiss. The sect master of the academy had mentioned this to him once. According to King Jin, he came to denounce Su Zimo, and the sect master of the academy only calmed him down temporarily after revealing the secret of the Green Lotus bloodline. However, the secret of the Green Lotus true body was something that was better the fewer the people who knew about it. Right now, Su Zimo was surrounded by multiple kings and was under immense pressure. As such, he did not have time to think too much about that discrepancy. In the backyard of Heaven and Earth Palace, another old man strode over. He wore the robes of an elder of the academy and had a powerful aura. He was also an Immortal King expert. Elder 8 of the academy? Su Zimo narrowed his eyes slightly and asked softly. That's me. The old man nodded slightly with a deep gaze and a meaningful smile. Su Zimo's heart skipped a beat when he heard that voice. Back when he underwent tribulation transcendence and ascended, Although he hid in the hell suppression tripod and did not see who the expert with King Yunyu was, he heard that person's voice. The voice was Elder 8 of the Academy. Elder 8 was in charge of all the weapons of the Academy. The horsetail whip that was fed to the hell suppression tripod back then was thrown out by Elder 8. Furthermore, the person who asked Painting Immortal Mo Qing to head to the Coiling Dragon Mountain Range during the Immortal Sect selection was Elder 8 as well. Everything seemed to have an explanation and became logical. However, there still seemed to be more than what met the eyes. How lively! A laugh sounded as an Immortal King expert arrived and entered Heaven and Earth Palace. This Immortal King had appeared at both the Divine Firmament Immortal Meet and the Nine Firmament Meet. He was the eldest disciple of Emperor Divine Firmament, Immortal King Qing Yang. There's so many people? King Yunyu frowned. There was only one Green Lotus true body. The more people there were, the less benefits everyone would obtain. The sect master of the Academy had a calm expression, as though he was not surprised by their arrival. Immortal King Yen Yang cupped his fist slightly and smiled at Immortal King Qing Yang. Fellow Taoist Qing Yang, how did you know about this lad's Green Lotus bloodline? Ha ha! At the mention of that, Immortal King Qing Yang was rather smug and said proudly, in the territory of the Divine Firmament Immortal Domain, as long as I want to know, there's no secret that can hide from my eyes. At the Divine Firmament Immortal Meet, Yu Hua joined forces with the Zither Immortal and the others to kill this lad. The fact that the sect master of the Academy personally sent a message proves that this lad is special. At that time, I could tell that there was a problem. I just didn't point it out. Amazing! Immortal King Yen Yang praised. The Immortal Kings exchanged pleasantries and chatted casually with relaxed expressions. In the eyes of the Immortal King experts, Su Zimo was already fish on the chopping block and could be slaughtered at any moment. It was just a matter of when they would split the food. Su Zimo surveyed his surroundings. There were a total of 6 Immortal King experts present, the sect master of the Academy, King Yunyu, Immortal King Yen Yang, King Jin, Immortal King Qing Yang and Elder 8. Furthermore, these Immortal King experts were all domineering giants who had almost cultivated to the peak of the Grotto Heaven realm. Indeed, he had no chance of survival against these experts. He did not even have the chance to escape. However, Su Zimo still had a calm expression and was terrifyingly composed. Su Zimo, you won't be able to defeat me in the end. Today will be your death date. Sword Immortal Yu Hua looked at Su Zimo and clenched his fists, laughing loudly. However, due to the constant pain coming from his body, his smile looked a little wretched. Su Zimo sneered with a pitying gaze. Even if you're alive, you're just a dog raised by someone else. Zimo. The sect master of the Academy sighed gently. Initially, I prepared a huge opportunity for you, a bright path. However, you chose a dead end. I'm truly disappointed. Since you chose a dead end, you won't even have the chance to reincarnate. Oh! Su Zimo had a mocking expression and was fearless. The sect master of the Academy said, do you think it will end just because you'd be dead? You betrayed your master and went against your roots rebelliously. I'll ruin your reputation as well. You'll forever bear the crime of being a traitor and be reviled by future generations. Not only did he want Su Zimo to die, the sect master of the Academy wanted him to bear endless infamy for eternity. Rank 1 of the Earth ranking and Heaven ranking? Once one bore the crime of betraying one's master and going against their roots, those honors would be tarnished and they would only attract countless criticism. This was extermination without any leeway. Back then, King Jin's methods were already considered cruel and vicious. Even then, he only nailed Thunder Emperor Feng Cantillon to the stone pillar for hundreds of thousands of years without seeing the light of day. Compared to the sect master of the Academy, King Jin's methods were weaker. Not only did the sect master of the Academy want Su Zimo to die, he wanted his name to be nailed to the pillar of shame forever and never be able to make a comeback. How many people in the world knew the ins and outs of this? Once domineering experts such as the sect master of the Academy, King Yunyu, Immortal King Qing Yang and King Jin declared that Su Zimo had betrayed his master and went against his roots, it would definitely attract the crazy insults of countless cultivators. By then, Su Zimo would be dead and there would be no evidence. Just as the sect master of the Academy said, he would kill anyone who wasn't obedient and destroy their reputations. Good move. Su Zimo clapped and praised. King Yunyu frowned slightly and looked at the sect master of the academy, urging, "It's about time. I think we can start refining the pill. We can throw the fresh green lotus flesh into an elixir furnace directly. If we can seal the green lotus bloodline perfectly, we'll definitely create the immortal pill successfully. I want a leaf of the green lotus," Immortal King Yen Yang said in a deep voice. Immortal King Qing Yang said, "I want half of the green lotus seed." The few Immortal King experts had already begun to discuss how to split Su Zimo. "Everyone, your wishful thinking is not bad." Su Zimo smiled and suddenly said, "Unfortunately, you guys are still a step behind in this game of chess." As though he sensed something, the sect master of the academy's expression changed. Suddenly, he attacked and slapped Su Zimo's head. Su Zimo merely stood on the spot motionlessly and did not dodge. Given his strength, he could not dodge the attack of an Immortal King expert at all. Su Zimo looked at the sect master of the academy with a mocking expression. Piak! The palm of the sect master of the academy slapped the top of Su Zimo's head. A tremendous and terrifying power descended and Su Zimo's figure dissipated with a bang, turning into green air currents that dissipated gradually. Chapter 2689. 2689 Escaped. 2689 Escape. Su Zimo's body vanished before everyone's eyes just like that. There was no blood at all. Well. Everyone was stunned on the spot. Even King Yunyu, Immortal King Yen Yang, King Jin and the others were stunned with disbelief in their eyes. Everyone could clearly see that Su Zimo was killed by a single palm strike from the sect master of the academy. However, he disappeared before everyone's eyes just like that. A clone. Immortal King Yen Yang frowned. How is that possible? King Yunyu could not accept it and shouted when he saw Su Zimo escape right under the noses of the Immortal Kings. It's indeed a clone. The sect master of the academy said in a deep voice and opened his palm. A green jade manual lay in the palm of the sect master of the academy. Jade Pure Jade Manual, Primeval Body. Immortal King Qing Yang blurted out. The sect master of the academy had an ugly expression as he said in a deep voice, "That's right. This was not the true body of that lad, but the primeval body condensed from the Jade Pure Jade Manual." Impossible. King Jin was still unable to accept this and said coldly, "This lad's cultivation is only at the perfected immortal realm. Even if he uses the Jade Pure Jade Manual to condense the primeval body, he won't be able to hide from my senses." Immortal King Yen Yang and Immortal King Qing Yang nodded. As Immortal King experts, their senses were incomparably keen. If the Su Zimo earlier on was a clone, they would definitely have been able to see through his flaws. Under the gazes of 6 Immortal King experts, he could deceive all of them with just a clone. The sect master of the academy had a dark expression and remained silent. Sword Immortal Yu Hua was stunned on the spot and could not accept this for a moment. Initially, he was looking forward to witnessing Su Zimo's death. To think that Su Zimo would disappear in front of the 6 Immortal Kings just like that. He played the 6 Immortal Kings with just a clone. Where is he? King Yunyu looked at the sect master of the academy anxiously and said coldly, "He's only a perfected immortal right now. He can't have escaped far." Everyone, calm down. I'm divining it right now. The sect master of the academy said in a deep voice, "Even if he can hide for a moment, he won't be able to escape my calculation." He waved his hands and conjured profound dermic arts, scattering many strange runes in front of him and divined continuously. His eyes seemed to flash through a vast galaxy, a deep ocean and a surging mortal world that was mysterious and unfathomable. A moment later, the sect master of the academy's eyes returned to normal and he let out a deep breath. "How's everything?" King Yunyu, Immortal King Yen Yang and the others asked hurriedly. The sect master of the academy had an ugly expression and remained silent. "You couldn't divine it?" King Yunyu stared at the sect master of the academy and asked doubtfully. The sect master of the academy shook his head slowly. "For some reason, this lad seems to be shrouded in a layer of fog that I can't divine." "I got it." Right then, Elder 8 suddenly said in a deep voice, "I once read about the creation Green Lotus in an ancient book. It's said that after the creation Green Lotus grows to a high level, it will give birth to some treasures, including a mysterious sutra. It's said that this sutra might be from the upper world. It contains the mysteries of the world and the truths of the great Tao. Even the 3 great sword arts are derived from this sutra. The sect master of the academy said, "That makes sense." After this lad entered the perfected one realm and obtained this sutra, he comprehended something. It was also because of the secret skill of this sutra that he could rely on a clone to hide from our senses. It's also because of this sutra that I can't divine his location. Damn it! King Yuanyu could not hold it in any longer and cursed. He had waited for many years. To think that Su Zimo would be able to escape in the end and his whereabouts were still unknown. King Jin, Immortal King Qingyang and the others had ashen expressions as well, and their bodies were filled with killing intent. The Immortal King experts were gathered here. To think that they would be fooled by the clone of a perfected immortal, and obtain nothing in the end. The sect master of the academy closed his eyes and pondered for a moment. Suddenly he said, "It's not like there are no clues." "Oh! Spit it out!" King Yunyu and the others urged. The sect master of the academy said in a deep voice, "According to what I know, this lad did not return to the academy immediately after the 9 firmament meet ended. Instead, he followed Immortal Queen Ling Long to the Battle Kingdom. By the time he returned to the academy, his cultivation realm had already reached the perfected one realm. If I'm not wrong, this lad should have broken through in the Battle Kingdom and cultivated the Green Lotus True Body to grade 12. King Yunyu's expression was uncertain as he asked faintly, "In that case, the true body of this lad might still be in the Battle Kingdom?" "It's indeed possible." The sect master of the academy nodded slightly. "Even if this lad is not in the Battle Kingdom, the Battle King and Immortal Queen Ling Long will definitely know his whereabouts." Immortal King Yan Yang, Immortal King Qing Yang and the others frowned. Immortal King Yan Yang frowned. The Battle Kingdom is far away in the Green Firmament Immortal Domain. Furthermore, I heard that the Battle King's injuries have healed and his cultivation has already recovered to its peak. With the help of Immortal Queen Ling Long, we might not be able to gain an advantage even if we kill our way to their doorsteps. Foo-foo. The sect master of the academy sneered. The Battle King's tricks are enough to fool others but not me. His injuries have not healed at all and his previous actions were all just a farce. When they heard that, the eyes of King Yunyu, Immortal King Qingyang and the others lit up. In the Battle Kingdom, only the Battle King was feared by everyone. If the Battle King was injured and only Immortal Queen Ling Long was left, it would be difficult for her to hold on alone and she would not be able to stop them at all. Immortal King Qingyang pondered for a moment. We're from the Divine Firmament Immortal Domain after all. If we head to the Green Firmament Immortal Domain, we'll probably attract the interference of Green Firmament Palace. In the Green Firmament Immortal Domain, Green Firmament Palace would usually watch from the sidelines and ignore the fights between the major factions. However, if an external faction started a fight in the Green Firmament Immortal Domain and wanted to eliminate its strength, Green Firmament Palace would not sit idly by. Humph. King Jin said in a deep voice, "We have a good reason for heading over this time round. We are trying to hunt down this traitorous disciple. So what if Green Firmament Palace appears? Could Green Firmament Palace publicly protect a traitor who betrayed his master and roots?" Exactly. Elder 8 said. That's the best reason. This is a rare opportunity and we can't miss it again. King Yunyu said coldly, "I heard that the Battle Kingdom has long been on the verge of collapse from both internal and external troubles. Let's see who dares to stop us from heading over to question them. There's no time to lose. We'll set off immediately." King Jin said in a deep voice. The sect master of the academy said, "Everyone, go first. I'll cast another dermic art in Heaven and Earth Palace and try to divine this lad's location. If I discover anything, I'll inform you immediately." King Yunyu and the others exchanged glances and nodded before turning to leave. A strange smile flashed through the sect master of the academy's eyes as he watched everyone leave. Chapter 2690. 2690 Injury Recovery. 2690 Injury Recovery. King Yunyu, King Jin, Immortal King Qingyang and Immortal King Yan Yang had just left Heaven and Earth Palace when King Yunyu paused slightly. "I think it's better if the sect master of the academy comes along with us for this matter." Suddenly, King Yunyu said. King Jin's heart skipped a beat as he nodded slightly. That's right. After all, our reason will only stand if the sect master of the academy is the one who leads us in hunting down this traitorous disciple of the academy. The two immortal kings exchanged glances and had a tacit understanding. When they saw the expressions of the two immortal kings, Immortal King Qingyang and Immortal King Yenyang reacted immediately. The four immortal kings had lived for hundreds of thousands of years and were wily foxes. The reason given by King Jin and King Yunyu was naturally not the main point. No one knew if the sect master of the academy could divine Su Zimo's location. If the four of them headed to the Battle Kingdom and the sect master of the academy managed to divine Su Zimo's location, wouldn't he be able to monopolize the green lotus flesh if he went to hunt the latter down? When the four immortal kings thought of that, they turned around once more and entered Heaven and Earth Palace. When the sect master of the academy saw the four immortal kings return, he seemed a little stunned and asked, "Fellow Taoists, what's the meaning of this?" King Yunyu was expressionless as he repeated what he had said earlier on. He's a traitor of the academy after all. It's if you show your face, sect master. The sect master of the academy did not seem to suspect anything and nodded and said, "That makes sense. I should go with you guys." When King Yunyu and the other three saw that the sect master of the academy was so open and did not hesitate at all, the suspicion in their hearts lessened. "You guys can disperse." Before leaving, the sect master of the academy chased Gu Yu, Mu Shan and Sword Immortal Yu Hua away before sealing Heaven and Earth Palace. Heaven and Earth Palace disappeared into the clouds once more. After the sect master of the academy, Elder 8, King Yunyu and the other three left Heaven and Earth Palace, the six immortal kings tore through the void and headed towards the Battle Kingdom. The Battle Kingdom was in the Green Firmament Immortal Domain after all. It was not appropriate for the six immortal kings to lead an army of cultivators to charge over and start a war. That would easily attract the interference of Green Firmament Palace. The six of them headed to the Battle Kingdom in the name of hunting down a traitor. They could use civility before resorting to force and take the initiative. After the six immortal kings left, peace returned to Heaven and Earth Academy. Everything was as usual and no one knew what had just happened in the depths of the academy. No one knew that the glorious disciple of the sect master a moment ago had already become a traitor of the academy. Heaven and Earth Palace that was hidden in the clouds and sealed should have been empty. However, not long after the six immortal kings left, two divine lights flashed in a dense immortal fog in the depths of Heaven and Earth Palace. A figure stood up slowly with a deep gaze that shone with endless wisdom as he strode out of the immortal fog. Green Firmament Immortal Domain, Battle Kingdom Palace. Lin Zhan's eyes were closed and his aura was extremely chaotic. He frowned, as though he was in a predicament. Immortal Queen Ling Long guarded quietly at the side and looked at the man not far away with a worried expression. Suddenly, Lin Zhan's body shuddered and his chaotic aura gradually calmed down as it circled around him. His initially pale face gradually regained its rosy color and his breathing was long. His condition was getting better. Immortal Queen Ling Long was overjoyed to see that. Lin Zhan forcefully descended to the lower worlds and was severely injured by the Heaven and Earth laws. He had never recovered from it ever since. Even after obtaining the 9 Revolutions Yang Reversion Pill and Sriracha fruit, they could only heal a small portion of Lin Zhan's injuries and could not treat him completely. But now, Lin Zhan's condition was getting better and better. If he continued cultivating, there was a chance that he could recover to his peak. A moment later, Lin Zhan heaved a sigh of relief and opened his eyes. "How's everything?" Immortal Queen Ling Long hurriedly asked. Lin Zhan smiled. The Yin Yang Talisman Sutra is indeed the #1 mystical book of the upper world. I comprehended some insights from it, and even the serious injuries caused by the Heaven and Earth laws have mostly been healed. Injuries caused by the Heaven and Earth laws were the most difficult to heal using external objects. The only possibility of healing those injuries were through comprehending the mysteries of Heaven and Earth's obscurities. Those very mysteries were found in the Yin Yang Talisman Sutra. Lin Zhan lamented, "Initially, there's no way I could have comprehended it so quickly. It's because I just watched Zimo's 9 of 9 Heavenly Tribulation and compared it against the Yin Yang Talisman Sutra that I gained some insights." The birth of the perfected 1 Heavenly Tribulation was a part of the Heaven and Earth laws to begin with. Furthermore, it was the extreme of the perfected 1 Heavenly Tribulation, the 9 of 9 Heavenly Tribulation. Back then, Thunder Monarch Foam Cantillon watched the martial Tao Prime Body's true martial heavenly tribulation and comprehended a dermic Tao that allowed him to advance to the Grotto Heaven realm. This time round, human monarch Lin Zhan gained something from watching the 9 of 9 heavenly tribulation of the Green Lotus True Body and comparing it to the Yin Yang Talisman Sutra. Lin Zhan sensed carefully and said, "Although I have not recovered to my peak, there shouldn't be an issue for me to go against Supreme Immortal Kings. Even against peak Immortal Kings, I can fight them." Immortal Queen Ling Long was also happy to see that Lin Zhan's strength had recovered by more than half. That way, the crisis of the Battle Kingdom could at least be relieved a lot. Immortal Queen Ling Long said, "Speaking of which, it's all thanks to Zimo. If not for him, we wouldn't have had the chance to read the Yin Yang Talisman Sutra, or even watch the 9 of 9 heavenly tribulation." "That's right," Lin Zhan said, "if I had known earlier, I would have let him stay in the Battle Kingdom. If he really wants to return to Heaven and Earth Academy, I could have accompanied him to meet the legendary Sect Master of the Academy." "Oh, you!" Immortal Queen Ling Long rolled her eyes at Lin Zhan. "The Sect Master of the Academy is the most mysterious person in the heavenly world. He's not someone that easy to deal with. Furthermore, your injuries have yet to recover completely." Lin Zhan seemed to have thought of something and suddenly asked, "By the way, you previously said that Zimo only returned to Heaven and Earth Academy with his clone. If his clone is exposed, given the Sect Master of the Academy's ability, will he be able to divine the location of Zimo's true body?" "Don't worry." Immortal Queen Ling Long smiled and said, "Don't forget, Zimo has also cultivated the Yin Yang Talisman Sutra. He can block the heavenly secrets and break free from the divination of the Sect Master of the Academy. The reason why his clone can hide from the world and confuse reality is all because he cultivated the Yin Yang Talisman Sutra. Furthermore, after Zimo left, I even specially cast a dermic art to erase all traces of him. Even if the Sect Master of the Academy is in control of the complete technique reserve, he won't be able to divine Zimo's true body." Hearing Immortal Queen Ling Long's certainty, Lin Zhan was relieved. The upper world is vast and the starry skies are boundless. I wonder where Zimo plans to go from now on. Immortal Queen Ling Long's expression changed. "I'm guessing that he would want to head to the Great Wilderness." "That's right." Lin Zhan's eyes lit up as he nodded and said, "Zimo has a benefactor waiting for him in the Great Wilderness. Previously, he even asked about Demon Empress Blood Butterfly." Immortal Queen Ling Long pursed her lips and smiled. "See, you were even thinking of protecting Zimo. With that person around, once he heads to the Great Wilderness, who would dare to lay a finger on him? Even the Emperor of the 9 Firmament Immortal Domain would have to avoid that person, let alone the Sect Master of the Academy." Chapter 2691. 2691 Strong Foes. 2691 Strong Foes. Right then, Lin Zhan sensed something and suddenly stood up, looking into the distance. His gaze was cold and seemed to be able to penetrate the endless void, landing on 6 cultivators. The battle intent on his body burst forth. "What happened?" Immortal Queen Ling Long stood up and asked. Immortal Queen Ling Long was only at the minor Grotto Heaven realm and had yet to sense any danger. After recovering from most of his injuries, Lin Zhan could already sense the presence of King Yun Yu and the others. "We have guests," Lin Zhan said word by word and disappeared from the palace in a flash. Immortal Queen Ling Long followed closely behind. In the blink of an eye, the two of them arrived outside Battle Kingdom City. Lin Zhan stood in midair with a lightning gaze. He looked at the void above his head and suddenly shouted, "Come out!" He reached out with his gigantic palm and grabbed towards the void. Bang! Boom! The void collapsed instantly and a gigantic hole was created by Lin Zhan. 6 figures appeared from within and descended through the pitch-black hole. These 6 were the 6 immortal kings who had just left Heaven and Earth Academy. Sect Master of the Academy, Elder 8, King Yun Yu, King Jin, Immortal King Qing Yang and Immortal King Yan Yang. Apart from Elder 8, the other 5 were all famous Immortal King experts of the heavenly world. They had their own territories and dominated entire regions. When Immortal Queen Ling Long saw this, she instantly understood that Su Zimo had already fallen out with Heaven and Earth Academy. Furthermore, his clone was destroyed and the Sect Master of the Academy obtained nothing. That was the reason why the sect master of the academy and the others came here menacingly. However, Immortal Queen Ling Long did not expect that there would be 6 Immortal King experts targeting Su Zimo. Fortunately, Su Zimo broke through to the perfected One realm in the Battle Kingdom and used his clone to return to Heaven and Earth Academy. If he had returned to Heaven and Earth Academy to break through, the consequences would have been unimaginable. It was you. When Immortal Queen Ling Long saw Elder 8, she recognized him immediately. Back when Su Zimo ascended, the Immortal King expert accompanying King Yunyu was this person. Lin Zhan glared at the sect master of the academy and the others with an unfriendly expression and said coldly, "All of you are experts who dominate a region. What are you here for?" At that moment, King Yunyu and the others had ugly expressions. Lin Zhan's injuries did not seem to be as serious as the rumors said. It was clear from that attack earlier on. "Brother Lin, your injuries seem to have healed," King Jin probed and suddenly said. Lin Zhan glared at him. "King Jin, how dare you call me that? I haven't settled the score with you for harming my brother. Since you've come to my territory today, don't go back." Humph. King Jin's expression darkened as well as he said coldly, "Lin Zhan, let's put the grudge between us aside for now. We're here for something else." King Yunyu said in a deep voice, "Battle King, we're not here to be enemies with you. We're only here to capture a traitor of Heaven and Earth Academy. This person." "What traitor? What has that got to do with me?" Before King Yunyu could finish, Lin Zhan sneered and interrupted him. Of course, Lin Zhan knew why this group of people was here. However, he did not intend to give them a chance to speak and said coldly, "King Yunyu, I'll count you in as well. I haven't settled the score with you for injuring Ling Long back then." Immortal Queen Ling Long had a grim expression. The battle today was not going to be easy. Among the 6 Immortal Kings, the sect master of the academy, King Jin and Immortal King Yen Yang were all peak Immortal Kings and had perfected Grotto Heavens. The remaining Elder 8, Immortal King Qing Yang and King Yunyu also had major Grotto Heavens. However, Lin Zhan's injuries had yet to recover completely. Even if she was included, their chances of winning against so many Immortal King experts were not high. Fight! Against the 6 Immortal King experts, Lin Zhan's fighting spirit surged and his aura rose continuously. He shouted and attacked first. Suddenly, a bronze halberd appeared in his palm and slashed towards the 6 Immortal Kings. The halberd slashed down with a torrential aura that enveloped the 6 Immortal King experts. Up till now, Lin Zhan had been severely injured and had not fought anyone for too long. Although his injuries had yet to recover fully, the moment he attacked, he released all the discontentment he had accumulated over the years and released a shocking might. The sect master of the academy, King Jin, King Yunyu and the others had grim expressions. The sect master of the academy and Elder 8 retreated immediately. Elder 8 touched his storage bag and thousands of Grotto Heaven Dermic treasures suddenly appeared beside him in a massive manner. The Dermic treasures of the entire Heaven and Earth Academy were under the control of Elder 8. What Elder 8 did not lack the most were weapons. Swish, swish, swish. Elder 8 controlled many Dermic treasures and surrounded Lin Zhan. King Jin summoned his Destiny Grotto Heaven Dermic treasure, a black two-handed saber that defended against Lin Zhan's bronze halberd. Immortal King Yen Yang did not retreat either. His gaze was like a torch as a gigantic sword burning with raging flames appeared in front of him. It was scarlet red and seemed to have been burned thoroughly red by the flames, flowing with boiling lava. Clang! Clang! The saber, sword and bronze halberd collided with an ear-piercing sound of metal clashing and sparks flew. The power of the top Immortal King experts collided and instantly tore through the surrounding void, causing countless cracks to appear. The immense power formed a terrifying airwave that spread rapidly in all directions. Immortal Queen Ling Long also joined the battle. Against the sect master of the academy, she used the 9 palace subtle steps to stall him as much as possible. Among the 6 Immortal King experts, the sect master of the academy was the most mysterious and threatening. If she could delay the sect master of the academy, it would be equivalent to alleviating the immense pressure on Lin Zhan. Boom, boom, boom. Suddenly, powerful auras burst forth from the Battle Kingdom Palace. In the palace, 7 Immortal King experts of the Battle Kingdom appeared and rose into the air, rushing over. King Jin said coldly, Battle King, if you use the power of the Battle Kingdom, don't blame us for gathering our subordinates and launching a large-scale attack to start a war. You guys can just watch from the side. Lin Zhan did not let the other Immortal King experts of the Battle Kingdom advance. In reality, ever since Lin Zhan was severely injured, most of the Immortal King experts of the Battle Kingdom had left. The remaining 7 Immortal King experts were all minor Grotto Heaven Realm experts. 5 of them were from the lower worlds. It was either because they owed Lin Zhan a favor or because he saved their lives that these Immortal King experts did not abandon him and leave. Even without Lin Zhan stopping them, the Immortal King experts would not be of much use if they swarmed forward. There was a huge difference between minor and major Grotto Heavens. The difference between major and perfected Grotto Heavens was practically worlds apart. If the 7 Immortal King experts joined the battle, there would only be 7 more corpses. Furthermore, it would give King Jin, King Yunyu, and the others a reason to wage war against the Battle Kingdom. Chapter 2692. 2692 Master Betrayal Curse. 2692 Master Betrayal Curse. The Wither Star. The ancient star was desolate and lifeless. It was extremely far from the heavenly world and had already exceeded the territory of the heavenly world. Standing on the Wither Star, Su Zimo looked in the direction of the heavenly world and could only make out a blurry shadow. He sensed it the moment his primeval body was destroyed. In order to find the Mastermind, Su Zimo even abandoned the Pure Jade manual. Although he suffered considerable losses, it was fortunate that he managed to protect the Green Lotus true body. He managed to find a path of survival in this game of life and death. There were a total of 6 Immortal King experts and they were all domineering existences. If he had not obtained the translation of the Yin Yang Talisman Sutra from Immortal Queen Ling Long and comprehended it, he would definitely not have been able to escape with the help of the Pure Jade manual. Even Lin Zhan and Immortal Queen Ling Long could not protect him. At that thought, Su Zimo felt a lingering fear. In reality, the entire process was a game of chess between Immortal Queen Ling Long and him against the Sect Master of the Academy and the other 5 Immortal Kings. It was also thanks to Immortal Queen Ling Long that he could edge out this win in the end. Although he was temporarily out of danger, Su Zimo was still puzzled. The entire matter seemed to be shrouded in a layer of fog in some details. Logically speaking, the fewer people who knew the secret of the Green Lotus true body, the better. Back when he ascended, why did the Sect Master of the Academy send Elder 8 to follow King Yunyu? Could the Sect Master of the Academy trust Elder 8 absolutely? For the cases of Immortal King Yen Yang and Immortal King Qing Yang, he was the one who revealed flaws which allowed them to see through his Green Lotus true body. However, the Sect Master of the Academy was the one who informed King Jin of this matter. Given the intelligence of the Sect Master of the Academy, how could he reveal this matter so simply to King Jin and let one more person divide the Green Lotus true body? Furthermore, after Su Zimo killed Prince Yuan Zhua and burned Absolute Thunder City, why did the Sect Master of the Academy take the initiative to summon King Jin and expose the matter of the Green Lotus true body? Wasn't that just alerting the enemy? The Sect Master of the Academy should know that he was acquainted with Immortal Queen Ling Long, but he had never stopped him from meeting her. Could it be that the Sect Master of the Academy had never considered the fact that he would join forces with Immortal Queen Ling Long? Or could it be? Su Zimo's heart skipped a beat as he suddenly thought of a terrifying possibility. His gaze flickered and his expression darkened. A moment later, Su Zimo suddenly took out the world map of the upper world from his storage bag, prepared to leave. Where are you going? Right then, a familiar voice sounded not far away. Su Zimo knew who it was without turning back. The void split open and a figure strode out confidently. The person had a deep gaze, a broad forehead and a faint smile on his face as he looked at Su Zimo calmly. The Sect Master of the Academy. You did something to my body? Su Zimo turned around slowly and narrowed his eyes at the Sect Master of the Academy not far away. He comprehended the Yin Yang Talisman Sutra. Under normal circumstances, he could already block the heavenly secrets and even the Sect Master of the Academy could not divine his location. Furthermore, Immortal Queen Ling Long had erased all traces for him. There was only one possibility why the Sect Master of the Academy could find this place so accurately right away. The sect master of the academy did something to his body. The sect master of the academy smiled. You're a smart person to be able to figure it out right away. Su Zimo released his spirit consciousness and checked himself carefully, but he still could not find any traces. Good move. Su Zimo glared at the sect master of the academy and spoke with a cold tone. Suddenly, he felt a sharp pain in his essence spirit and was in a daze. He grunted and his expression changed slightly. Foo-foo. The sect master of the academy chuckled and shook his head gently. My dear disciple, you shouldn't have thought of killing me. It's a huge crime to want to kill your master. Su Zimo took a deep breath of air and looked into his consciousness once more. He saw dark green threads coiling around his green lotus essence spirit. Even though the creation lotus platform spewed out tens of thousands of rays of light, it could not wash away the dark green threads. He was all too familiar with that power. A curse. Su Zimo's expression was terrible. He did not even notice that his essence spirit was cursed. Even the grade 12 creation green lotus could not remove the power of that curse. It was definitely a top-tier curse. You actually know such a top-tier curse technique. Su Zimo glared at the sect master of the academy and asked coldly, You're from the witch race? As Su Zimo asked the sect master of the academy to stall for time, he secretly released his dermic Tao. In his consciousness, the green lotus essence spirit chanted the Prajna Nirvana Sutra repeatedly, wanting to make use of the power of the taboo mystic classic to break free from the entanglement of the curse. Against Su Zimo's question, the sect master of the academy smiled and did not reply. However, a hint of disdain flashed through his brows. Don't waste your energy. As though he had already seen through Su Zimo's intentions, the sect master of the academy said indifferently, Even immortal kings and emperors won't be able to break free from my master betrayal curse, let alone you. Master betrayal curse. Su Zimo was shocked. The dermic Tao power contained in the master betrayal curse could not be resisted. Once he had the intention to kill his master, the master betrayal curse would awaken. It was not easy to plant the master betrayal curse. The most important prerequisite was that both parties had to be master and disciple. The sect master of the academy said indifferently, You chose this path yourself. My master betrayal curse would not have triggered if you were willing to listen to me. Unfortunately, you disregarded the hierarchy and even had the intention to kill your master. Su Zimo said coldly, We were no longer master and disciple the moment you wanted to kill me. The sect master of the academy smiled faintly. A master for a day is a father for life. This is the dermic Tao shackle of the master betrayal curse. You can't break free. Su Zimo's killing intent intensified as he looked at the confident and composed sect master of the academy. However, the stronger his killing intent was, the more ferocious the power of the master betrayal curse was. More and more dark green threads appeared on the green lotus essence spirit and coiled up continuously. Su Zimo felt waves of pain in his mind and his entire body trembled uncontrollably. When did you plant the curse? Su Zimo endured the pain and asked through gritted teeth. You can't remember? The sect master of the academy asked instead. Su Zimo recalled the entire process from the moment he entered Heaven and Earth Academy until now. He did not meet the sect master of the academy often and only met him once in Heaven and Earth Palace. However, Su Zimo was already prepared at that time and the sect master of the academy should not have had the chance to attack. Suddenly, Su Zimo's heart skipped a beat when he recalled how he was accepted as an in-name disciple by the sect master of the academy after condensing the 10th step of the Tao Heart Stairs. At that time, all the elders were present and there were many disciples of the academy. It was impossible for the sect master of the academy to attack in front of everyone. However, the sect master of the academy gave him a gift in acknowledgement of their master and disciple relationship. That teleportation jade badge. Su Zimo said slowly. Chapter 2693. 2693 Mastermind. 2693 Mastermind. That's right. The sect master of the academy nodded slightly with a satisfied expression. If not for the fact that you have the Green Lotus bloodline, you would indeed be a suitable candidate to inherit my legacy. The master betrayal curse was planted on the teleportation jade badge. During the Immortal Peach Banquet in the Jade Firmament Immortal Domain, Su Zimo made use of the teleportation Jade Badge to escape with Tao Yao and return to Heaven and Earth Academy in the midst of chaos. The power of the Master Betrayal curse latched itself onto Su Zimo at the same time as the teleportation Jade Badge shattered. The Sect Master of the Academy had everything planned out. The teleportation Jade Badge was his last life-saving method. When Su Zimo shattered the teleportation Jade Badge, he would definitely be in a huge life and death crisis. At that juncture, Su Zimo's attention would definitely not be on the teleportation Jade Badge. That was the reason why the Master Betrayal curse could hide from Su Zimo's senses and be planted on him silently. Therefore, with this curse, you can sense my location. Su Zimo asked. Of course. The Sect Master of the Academy said, You're under my surveillance at all times. Apart from the time you headed to Avicii. However, I know that you have the Hell Suppression Tripod with you and won't be in any danger even in Greater Avicii. Therefore, you knew long ago that it was not my Green Lotus true body who returned to Heaven and Earth Academy? Su Zimo asked again. At the mention of that, the Sect Master of the Academy smiled in disdain and shook his head. In my eyes, the tricks of you and Ling Long are amateur plays. At that moment, Su Zimo had gradually calmed down. Suddenly, he thought of something. King Yunyu and the others saw the destruction of my clone. Now that you're here to hunt me, aren't you afraid that they'll be the ones hunting you right behind? They lack the foresight to be able to hunt meal. The Sect Master of the Academy smiled gently. At this moment, they're joining forces to attack the Battle Kingdom and fighting against Lin Zhan and Immortal Queen Ling Long. They have no time to spare. Su Zimo's expression changed. The reason why he chose to leave the Battle Kingdom was because he did not want to implicate the human monarch and Immortal Queen Ling Long unexpectedly. He still implicated the two of them. As though he could tell Su Zimo's worry, the Sect Master of the Academy waved his hand gently. Don't worry, most of Lin Zhan's injuries have suddenly recovered. King Yunyu and the others won't be able to suppress him for the time being. Su Zimo was slightly relieved. However, he could not accept it for the time being. How can King Yunyu and the others be manipulated by you and attack the Battle Kingdom without any doubts? Of course. The Sect Master of the Academy smiled. That's because I'm with them in the Battle Kingdom. Su Zimo was stunned. The Sect Master of the Academy's words seemed to reveal a huge piece of information that Su Zimo could not react to right away. The Sect Master of the Academy looked at Su Zimo and shook his head gently. You, Immortal Queen Ling Long and King Yunyu's group. All of you think you're playing a game of chess with me. However, in my eyes, none of you are qualified. That's because I was the one who set up the entire chess game from the beginning to the end. All of you are merely my chess pieces. You must have some self-awareness as a chess piece. How can a chess piece go against the mastermind of the game? The Sect Master of the Academy's tone revealed immense confidence. It was a feeling of being in control of the entire situation and being high and mighty. He was indeed capable of this and relished this feeling immensely. He was high and mighty as he looked at the chess game he had set up, smiling knowingly as he looked at his chess pieces execute seemingly exquisite moves. Let's start from the beginning. The Sect Master of the Academy smiled faintly. King Yunyu looked for me and asked me to divine the time and location of your ascension. Thereafter, he intercepted to try and kill you, but Immortal Queen Ling Long appeared. You've already met Immortal Queen Ling Long. You should know that she received a letter. Su Zimo nodded. You should be the one who wrote that letter. That's right. The Sect Master of the Academy said, the creation Green Lotus is of great importance and involves ancient Dharmic sutras such as the Yin Yang Talisman Sutra. There aren't many people in the upper world who know the potential of the creation Green Lotus. Immortal Queen Ling Long and I are two of them. I naturally won't allow King Yunyu to refine it into a pill when you've just grown to grade 9. That would be a waste of this divine gift from the heavens. Furthermore, I don't want to share the creation Green Lotus with others either. Su Zimo understood. That was the reason why the Sect Master of the Academy sent a secret letter to Immortal Queen Ling Long and asked her to take action. The Sect Master of the Academy said, You should have a question in your heart. Why did Elder 8 head over with King Yunyu to intercept you, right? Su Zimo was silent. That was indeed one of his doubts. Since the Sect Master of the Academy did not want to share the creation Green Lotus with others, Why did he send Elder 8 to head over with King Yunyu? That was unless Elder 8 and the sect master of the academy were. Suddenly, Su Zimo thought of a possibility that explained many questions lingering in his mind. Elder 8 is your clone. Su Zimo blurted out. You're indeed very smart. The sect master of the academy praised once more and added, to be precise, the real Elder 8 is already dead. The current Elder 8 is my clone. Su Zimo thought of something else. At that time, the Pure Jade Manual had yet to appear and the Grand Pure Jade Manual was in the hands of Prince Qin Su. However, it was always a secret as to who obtained the Supreme Pure Jade Manual. From the looks of it, the Supreme Pure Jade Manual is in your hands. The sect master of the academy had an approving expression and gestured for Su Zimo to continue. Su Zimo said, after obtaining the Qimen Duanjiao legacy of the Technique Reserve and using the clone condensed from the Supreme Pure Jade Manual, you can naturally deceive everyone. Elder 8 is in charge of the Academy's divine weapons and the clone condensed by the Supreme Pure Jade Manual is called the Spirit Treasure Body. It's the best replacement. Well done. When he heard that, the sect master of the Academy clapped and laughed, praising. As such, another matter was instantly understood. At that time, during the Immortal Sect selection, painting Immortal Mo Qing was entrusted by Elder 8 to arrive in time. Su Zimo was still puzzled as to what role Elder 8 played in this. From the looks of it, the sect master of the academy had only been manipulating everything from the beginning. He made use of his Elder 8 clone to hide himself perfectly. Suddenly, Su Zimo recalled something else and stared at the sect master of the academy not far away, asking slowly, at the 9 Firmament meet, Qin Su was killed by Desolate Marshal of the Fiend Domain and his Grand Pure Jade Manual fell into the hands of Immortal King Long Night. As for Immortal King Long Night, he tore through the void and was about to escape when he was suddenly assassinated. The Grand Pure Jade Manual disappeared as well. If I'm not wrong, you were the one who assassinated Immortal King Long Night. The Grand Pure Jade Manual should be in your hands now. That's right. The sect master of the academy had a calm expression and had no intention of hiding anything. Everything was within his control and before long, Su Zimo would be a dead man as well. Chapter 2694. 2694 Sect Master Scheme. 2694 Sect Master Scheme. The Sect Master of the Academy smiled. Initially, I didn't have a good chance of getting my hands on the Grand Pure Jade Manual. However, the appearance of Desolate Marshal of the Fiend Domain caused a huge commotion at the 9 Firmament meet. Alongside the sudden awakening of the Builder Tree, an opportunity was opened up for me. Su Zimo recalled the situation at the 9 Firmament meet and it was a complete mess. Almost all the cultivators and Immortal King experts of the 9 Firmament Immortal Domain and Pure Land of Bliss focused their attention on the Martial Dao Prime Body and the Builder Tree. That was the reason why the Sect Master of the Academy had an opportunity to take advantage of them. The Sect Master of the Academy's scheme was indeed terrifying. Now the 3 Pure One's Jade Manual had already fallen into his hands. More importantly, the Sect Master of the Academy hid himself almost perfectly and was never exposed. As such, he was never targeted. If anyone knew that the 3 Pure One's Jade Manual was in the hands of the Sect Master of the Academy, even emperors would be tempted. Right now, even King Yunyu and the others merely knew that the Sect Master of the Academy had obtained the Pure Jade Manual. Every single move of the Sect Master of the Academy was extremely careful and could be said to be perfect. Although the Sect Master of the Academy did not say it explicitly, Su Zimo guessed that the reason why the Sect Master of the Academy hid himself and used the identity of Elder 8 to plot everything in secret was probably because he was wary of Daiyu. The Sect Master of the Academy definitely knew that King Yunyu's clone was destroyed by Daiyu in Tianhuang mainland. He must be worried that he would attract Daiyu's revenge, which was why he was so cautious. But now that the Sect Master of the Academy had finally appeared, he was naturally certain that he was in control of the entire situation and had killed all variables. The reason why the Sect Master of the Academy set up such a huge scheme was not only for the 3 Pure One's Jade Manual. Su Zimo knew in his heart that he no longer had a chance in the current situation. It was not only because the difference in strength between the two parties was huge. In front of the Sect Master of the Academy, he felt a sense of helplessness as well. Everything about him was merely a part of the sect master of the Academy's calculations. Furthermore, his essence spirit was entangled by the master betrayal curse. Even if he was lucky enough to escape, the sect master of the Academy would be able to sense his location no matter where he fled. As for the master betrayal curse, he could not resolve it at all. This was a dead end. There might be other variables in between, but it was difficult to change the eventual outcome. It was precisely because of this that the sect master of the Academy revealed his true appearance, and was even willing to reveal all his schemes. Actually, the immortal sect selection was planned many years ahead. The sect master of the Academy said, "I arranged for Yang Ruoxu to preside over the immortal sect selection because I was waiting for you." Su Zimo said, "You know senior brother Yang's character and know that he won't submit easily against the might of authority. Therefore, although a series of unforeseen events happened during the immortal sect selection, it was all within your expectation." "That's right." The sect master of the Academy nodded. "All of this was arranged to dispel your guard and make you think that joining the Academy was just a coincidence." Su Zimo was silent and felt a chill in his heart. Not only could the sect master of the Academy divine the heavenly secrets, his grasp of the human heart was extremely accurate as well. In order to control all the variables of the immortal sect selection, not only did he have to know Yang Ruoxu like the back of his hand, he had to understand all the heaven immortals who partook in the selection at that time, such as Prince Yuan Zhua, Zither immortal Meng Yao, Painting immortal Mo Qing, and everyone else. The sect master of the Academy understood the reactions, bottom lines, strengths and choices each of them would make. His mastery of the human heart had already reached a terrifying level. Su Zimo thought of something else and frowned. "Since you wanted to dispel my guard, why did you summon me later on to expose the matter of the Green Lotus true body?" No matter how he looked at it, this matter seemed unnecessary and might even alert the enemy. Ha ha! When the sect master of the Academy mentioned that, he burst into laughter. "Haven't you figured it out yet? At that time, my intention was to alert the enemy. I was reminding you to make preparations for your escape." Su Zimo was shocked. The sect master of the Academy continued, "Of course, I didn't intend to alarm you in the beginning when you joined the Academy. However, you were too outstanding and obtained rank 1 of the Earth and Heaven ranking in succession. I couldn't suppress the attention even if I wanted to. Even if I sealed the news of you condensing the 10th step of the Tao Heart Stairs, it would still be noticed by those with sharp senses and they would naturally pay attention to you." Thereafter, King Yun Yu, Immortal King Yen Yang and Immortal King Qing Yang discovered your Green Lotus bloodline one after another. Naturally, they came to demand a share of the loot. When King Jin came looking for me, I took advantage of the situation and did not hide this matter. Since they wanted to join the game, I let them in. However, they're far from capable enough to take advantage of me. Su Zimo was enlightened and finally understood the sect master of the Academy's plan. Right from the beginning, the sect master of the Academy had no intention of sharing his Green Lotus true body with others. However, because the Green Lotus true body was exposed, the sect master of the Academy changed his plan and allowed King Yun Yu and the others to join the game before exposing Su Zimo's Green Lotus true body. The sect master of the Academy had never stopped him from participating in the 9 Firmament meet or from meeting immortal Queen Ling Long. That was because all of this was the intention of the sect master of the Academy to begin with. The sect master of the Academy wanted Su Zimo and immortal Queen Ling Long to join forces and use the Pure Jade manual to create this decoy plan in order to escape the surveillance of King Yun Yu and the others. With the guidance of the master betrayal curse, the sect master of the Academy could look for him at any moment. However, King Yun Yu and the others would not be able to obtain a single drop of the Green Lotus bloodline. The scene in Heaven and Earth Palace was within the expectations of the sect master of the Academy. The sect master of the Academy had only been putting on an act with him the entire time. Thereafter, the sect master of the Academy made use of his clone to divert attention and charged into the Battle Kingdom with King Yun Yu and the others to get entangled with Lin Zhan and immortal Queen Ling Long. As for him, he sought Su Zimo on the Wither Star using his true body. This plan not only schemed against King Yun Yu and the other 3 immortal kings, but it even implicated Lin Zhan and immortal Queen Ling Long. Suddenly, Su Zimo thought of an even more terrifying guess. The reason why the sect master of the Academy plotted such a chess game might not only be for the 3 Pure Ones Jade Manual and his Green Lotus true body. Foo-foo. The sect master of the Academy's eyes were deep and shone brightly, As though he had already seen through the thought that flashed through Su Zimo's mind, he chuckled and asked leisurely, "From your expression, you've already guessed it." "Yua." Su Zimo clenched his fists with a cold expression. "That's right." The sect master of the academy nodded slightly. "Since immortal Queen Ling Long wants to join the game, I naturally won't let her leave so easily." "Indeed." Su Zimo's heart sank. There was another legacy in the taboo mystic classic of the Technique Reserve, the 6-Ran Divine Calculation. The sect master of the academy wanted to obtain that from immortal Queen Ling Long. If the sect master of the academy obtained the Yin Yang Talisman Sutra and the 6-Ran Divine Calculation, it would be equivalent to mastering the complete Technique Reserve. Su Zimo took a deep breath and said in a deep voice, "The Battle King and immortal Queen Ling Long are both in the Battle Kingdom. The Battle King's injuries have mostly recovered as well. It won't be that easy for you to snatch the 6-Ren Divine Calculation." "Not necessarily," the sect master of the academy said with a fake smile. "I have you as bait." Su Zimo shuddered. Chapter 2695. 2695 Flawless Calculations. 2695 Flawless Calculations. The sect master of the academy smiled. "When the time is right, I'll reveal a flaw. Given Ling Long's meticulousness, she'll definitely sense it. Believe me, she'll chase after us." At that time, Lin Zhan would still be entangled with King Yun Yu and the others. Who can save her? Su Zimo felt a chill run down his spine as he looked at the smiling sect master of the academy. Just as the sect master of the academy said at the beginning, all of them were chess pieces. The sect master of the academy was the mastermind of the chess game. As chess pieces, how could they fight against the mastermind? He was a chess piece, so were King Yun Yu, immortal King Qin Yang and the others. Even immortal Queen Ling Long was not spared. According to the sect master of the academy's plan, not only would the sect master of the academy obtain the grade 12 creation Green Lotus when the chess game ended, he would also obtain 2 complete Taboo Mystic Classic. The 3 Pure Ones Jade Manual and Technique Reserve. One could become a powerful emperor with just a single Taboo Mystic Classic. In fact, they even had a chance of becoming a great emperor. How far could the sect master of the academy go in future with 2 complete Taboo Mystic Classics in his hands? What truly terrified Su Zimo was not only the strength of the sect master of the academy, but his flawless calculations. He could set up a chess game and involve everyone, allowing them to be at his mercy. He could even calculate all the variables. Even if Su Zimo died on the Witherstar today, no one would know. Others would only think that he had already betrayed Heaven and Earth Academy and hidden himself, his whereabouts unknown. The sect master of the academy would become the greatest winner in the dark without attracting anyone's attention. It was just like how he obtained the Supreme Pure Jade Manual back then. No one even knew that the Supreme Pure Jade Manual was in his hands. "Is there even anything that you can't divine?" Su Zimo asked coldly. "Nothing," the sect master of the academy said confidently. "Everything is within my calculations. But yes." Suddenly, he thought of something and paused for a moment. "To be precise, there's indeed a person whom I can't involve in my calculations. I'm still puzzled even now. Desolate Marshal of the Fiend Domain, what's his relationship with you?" The sect master of the academy glared at Su Zimo and asked. The combat strength of the Martial Dao Prime body was way too strong. Back at the 9 Firmament meet, he could even suppress Supreme Immortal Kings. The existence of the Martial Dao Prime body was a variable, and the sect master of the academy could not divine any traces of him. No matter how much the sect master of the academy racked his brains, he could not guess that the Green Lotus True Body and the Martial Dao Prime body were the same person. The reason why Yun Zhu could discover the relationship between the two was because there were openings revealed between the 2 true bodies in Greater Avicii. Su Zimo heaved a sigh of relief when he heard the sect master of the academy's question. Prior to this, he was a little suffocated by the mental prowess displayed by the sect master of the academy. "So there are still things you can't divine?" Su Zimo sneered. The Martial Dao Prime body was his greatest secret, and he would naturally not tell it to the sect master of the academy. However, Su Zimo was worried about something else. The martial Tao prime body had fallen into the well beneath Greater Avicii and his fate was unknown. Right now, he could not sense the martial Tao prime body. Against Su Zimo's mockery, the sect master of the academy was neither angry nor annoyed. With an indifferent expression he said, "It's fine. I'll naturally obtain information about him from your essence spirit. What's so special about a mere desolate marshal of the fiend domain?" The sect master of the academy said proudly, "Other than him, everyone else is within my calculations." Pausing for a moment, the sect master of the academy glanced at the void at the side and said indifferently, "After listening for so long, it's time for you to appear." Su Zimo's heart skipped a beat. There was someone else besides the two of them. Just as Su Zimo was puzzled, the void not far away from the two of them suddenly split open and a figure walked out. "Old Qimen!" Su Zimo exclaimed when he saw that person. The gray-robed old man was Old Qimen of Heaven and Earth Academy. Divining the heavenly secrets, divining fate, divining the human heart and divining karma. Old Qimen was expressionless as he nodded and said, "Flawless calculations. You're truly worthy of those words." "You flatter me." The sect master of the academy smiled gently. Suddenly, Old Qimen sighed. "In that case, my appearance was also within your calculations." "Of course." The sect master of the academy smiled. "You should have known long ago." Old Qimen nodded. "Back when Su Zimo was about to head to Avicii, you did a divination in front of me and it was an ominous outcome. I headed to Avicii because I was worried about this child's safety. To think that I would encounter an old monk tomb keeper on Great Tai Wei Mountain and be severely injured by him." Old monk tomb keeper. Su Zimo's heart skipped a beat. The old monk that Old Qimen mentioned should be the same tomb keeper he knew. To think that when Old Qimen followed him to Avicii, he was severely injured by the old monk on the way. Old Qimen said, "From the looks of it, you were the one who deliberately divined an ominous outcome and hinted for me to head to Great Tai Wei Mountain. You knew long ago that there was a terrifying expert on Great Tai Wei Mountain." The sect master of the academy smiled. "I didn't expect you to return alive from that person's hands. Actually, the ominous outcome of my divination was for you." Su Zimo listened attentively at the side. This was the first time he had heard of this. Furthermore, from the sect master of the academy's words, it seemed like he knew the background of the old monk. In the beginning, Su Zimo did have his suspicions of Old Qimen. From the looks of it, Old Qimen truly wanted to protect him in Heaven and Earth Academy. Unfortunately, he was schemed against by the sect master of the academy and was severely injured. Old Qimen shook his head gently. "That person only took a glance at me and my grotto heaven shattered. Indeed, if he wanted to kill me, I would have had no way of escaping." Old Qimen looked at the sect master of the academy with a conflicted expression. "Actually, when Su Zimo condensed the 10th step of the Tao Heart Stairs and you appeared to take him in as your personal disciple, I sensed something amiss." The sect master of the academy smiled gently. "That's why you fought with me and were unwilling to let Su Zimo become my disciple immediately." "That's right," Old Qimen said. "At that time, you took a step back and accepted him as an in-name disciple first. He could make his actual decision after he cultivated to the perfected one realm. To think that you managed to tamper with that teleportation jade badge." Su Zimo was secretly alarmed. To think that the game between Old Qimen and the sect master of the academy had long begun. Furthermore, Old Qimen's appearance at this moment was within the expectations of the sect master of the academy. Old Qimen was implicated in this chess game as well. The scheme of the sect master of the academy might not only be limited to the Green Lotus True Body, the 3 Pure Ones Jade Manual and the Technique Reserve. He wanted even more. "It's time to stop." Old Qimen looked at the sect master of the academy and sighed again. The sect master of the academy was expressionless and gradually retracted his smile. "You think you can stop me?" the sect master of the academy asked instead. Chapter 2696. 2696 Ambitions. 2696 Ambitions. Old Qimen had a grim expression as he asked, "What exactly do you want? Don't you think that this is enough?" "Of course not," the sect master of the academy said. I'll get Heaven and Earth Academy to replace Divine Firmament Palace and unify the Divine Firmament Immortal Domain. In the future, I'll even unify the 9 Firmament. When old Qimen heard that, he had a calm expression, as though he was not surprised. Even if you unify the 9 Firmament, I'm afraid you won't stop. You'll definitely find an opportunity to flatten the Pure Land of Bliss and Fiend Domain and let the heavenly world be under your control. Old Qimen looked at the sect master of the academy and sighed gently. How ambitious! Su Zimo was secretly alarmed. Although Heaven and Earth Academy was a heaven-grade faction, there were many heaven-grade factions in the entire 9 Firmament Immortal Domain. Heaven and Earth Academy was nothing. It was as difficult as ascending to the heavens for Heaven and Earth Academy to replace Divine Firmament Palace, let alone unify the heavenly world. What's wrong? The sect master of the academy said, there's a high chance that chaos will descend in this generation. Only by unifying the heavenly world can we survive the chaos. That's just an excuse. Old Qimen shook his head. You just want to take advantage of the chaos in the world to become the master of the heavenly world. That chaos. Su Zimo's heart skipped a beat. Was the chaos that swept through the Trichiliacosm mentioned by the sect master of the academy the same one that Book Immortal Yunju had once mentioned to him? There was a high chance that this chaos involved a terrifying existence that spanned 10 eras, the Fiend Lord. Old Qimen continued, your ambitions might not be able to be satisfied even if you're the master of the heavenly world. If there's a chance, you might even want to become the master of 10 or 100 worlds. The sect master of the academy smiled indifferently and did not refute, as though he was in silent agreement. Old Qimen sighed. Master knows your capabilities well and that's why he praised you as the one with flawless calculations. However, he also knows that you're too ambitious. Don't mention that old thing in front of me. Suddenly, the sect master of the academy interrupted old Qimen and frowned slightly, shouting with a hint of impatience. Su Zimo was surprised. The sect master of the academy had always been emotionally stable and filled with wisdom, as though he could see through everything in the world and was omnipotent. At that moment, the sect master of the academy actually lost his composure and was extremely disrespectful towards the master of him and old Qimen. Old Qimen said, you shouldn't be like that. He's not only our master, but also your father. Father? The sect master of the academy sneered. Is he worthy? Su Zimo was even more puzzled. The sect master of the academy seemed to have a huge grudge against his master and father. Old Qimen said, your mother was in the witch world at that time. In that situation, it was already master's limit to save you. There was nothing master could do about your mother's death. Su Zimo was secretly speechless. He had just guessed that the sect master of the academy might be a member of the witch race. From the looks of it, he was only half right. To be precise, the sect master of the academy had a portion of the witch race's bloodline flowing through his body. And why did he save me? So that he could monitor me at all times? The sect master of the academy's tone was cold as he said slowly, that old thing has never treated me as his own. He has always treated me as someone from a foreign race and has always been wary of me. What are you talking about? Old Qimen had a conflicted expression as he said in a deep voice, Master has never married in his life and you're his only child. Why would he view you as someone from a foreign race? If he saw you as someone from a foreign race, why would he impart the Tao and even handed the position of the sect master of the academy to you? Fu. When he heard that, the sect master of the academy's expression darkened and he let out a deep laughter that sounded hair-raising. The sect master of the academy said, he passed the position of sect master to me, but he was worried. That's why he arranged for you to monitor me. He has always believed that those who are not of our race must have ulterior motives. Even after his death, he wanted you to keep an eye on me. Old Qimen said expressionlessly, ever since Heaven and Earth Academy was established, there has always been the position of an Elder 10 in the dark. The greatest use of Elder 10 is to hide himself. If the Academy meets with destruction, Elder 10 can escape alone and pass down the legacy of the Academy. At that point, Su Zimo was enlightened. If he was not wrong, old Qimen was Elder 10. The role of Elder 10 was to ensure that the legacy of the Academy would not end and would survive. Apart from the position of sect master of the Academy, no one knew the identity of Elder 10. Even if there was a rebellion in the academy or it was met with a catastrophe, Elder 10 could hide and plan a comeback. Although the identity of Elder 10 was a secret, his status in the academy was not inferior to the sect master of the academy. That was the reason why old Qimen could speak to the sect master of the academy in that tone when they were in front of the Dao Heart stairs. Fu. The sect master of the academy smiled. Before you, Elder 10 was indeed only in charge of passing down the academy's legacy. However, apart from the academy's legacy, the most important reason why that old thing made you Elder 10 was to monitor me and keep me in check. Old Qimen fell silent, as though he was in agreement with what the sect master of the academy said. A moment later, old Qimen said, Master did remind me, but it's not because you're from another race. Master was just worried that your ambitions would be too great and bring a calamity to the academy. With me around, Heaven and Earth Academy can reach a height that has never been reached before. The sect master of the academy said slowly, I'm the only one who can lead Heaven and Earth Academy to become the only overlord of the heavenly world. Old Qimen sighed. However, Heaven and Earth Academy has changed completely over the years. The disciples of the academy are fighting openly and covertly. Yet, you ignored them and even pushed them in secret, causing the academy to be filled with factions. What benefits will that bring to the academy? You once explained that such fights would allow the disciples of the academy to grow faster. However, you and I know very well that this is not your goal at all. The reason why you're letting the disciples fight is because you're nurturing them the same way you create goo. Even if such people grow, their personalities would be completely distorted. The sect master of the academy did not refute that. The sect master of the academy smiled gently. That's only one of the reasons. My status in the academy will only be unshakable if these people at the bottom fight against each other. That's power. That's the human heart. Right now, the 9 great elders of the academy have already submitted to me. Do you think you can restrain me? The reason why I included you in this chess game is to get rid of you. Initially, on account of us being fellow disciples, I had no intention of attacking personally. However, since you managed to escape on Great Tai Wei Mountain, I'll send you on your way personally today. Old Qimen had a grim expression. He knew in his heart that there would definitely be a fatal outcome between the two of them today. This has nothing to do with him. Release his master betrayal curse and let him off. Old Qimen glanced at Su Zimo, who was not far away, and said in a deep voice. Chapter 2697. 2697 9 Duns of Qimen. 2697 9 Duns of Qimen. The sect master of the academy smiled gently. His green lotus flesh is the most important thing in my chess game. How can I let him go? He glanced at Su Zimo. As far as I know, this ancient star is called the Wither Star. Su Zimo, this is your fate. Your grade 12 creation green lotus body is destined to wither here. Die! When he heard the sect master of the academy's words, Su Zimo lowered his gaze and a hint of madness flashed through his eyes as he growled. Suddenly, he tore apart a talisman in his hand and struck towards the sect master of the academy not far away. He had never given up. Even if there was no hope or chance, he would not surrender. Earlier on, Su Zimo was not idle during the conversation between the sect master of the academy and old Qimen. He tried his best to restrain his hostility and killing intent towards the sect master of the academy. In his consciousness, the creation lotus platform spewed out green light. At the same time, the #1 spirit refinement taboo mystic classic, the Prajna Nirvana Sutra, was circulating continuously. In his consciousness, phantoms of Buddhas appeared and pressed their palms together, chanting the divine Sanskrit continuously to defend against the power of the master betrayal curse. However, no matter how he channeled, the dark green threads on the green lotus essence spirit did not decrease. Of course, as he retracted his hostility and killing intent, the dark green threads did not increase as well. Just as the sect master of the academy had said, Su Zimo could not remove the master betrayal curse with his strength alone. However, after the green lotus true body transformed to grade 12, the green light spewing out of the creation lotus platform became purer and its power increased greatly. With the augmentation of the green light and the divine Sanskrit, the green lotus essence spirit managed to catch a break. As long as there was a chance, it was enough. Su Zimo was long prepared to fight to the death. In the secret ground of the Pure Jade Manual, he once obtained a talisman that targeted the Essence Spirit and could kill immortal kings, the Grand Pure Purple Cloud Talisman. Given Su Zimo's Essence Spirit, even if he could release the Grand Pure Purple Cloud Talisman, it would not be able to withstand it. Furthermore, once he attacked the Sect Master of the Academy, the power of the Master Betrayal Curse would be completely released, and at its peak, it would be enough to kill him. His fate was already decided. What Su Zimo wanted to do was to kill the Sect Master of the Academy before he died. Just now, the Sect Master of the Academy had revealed that immortal Queen Ling Long might be lured over by him. Su Zimo did not want immortal Queen Ling Long to be in danger. He could only attack the Sect Master of the Academy before she arrived. This was Su Zimo's all-out attack, using his life, like a moth flying into a flame. Zimo! Old Qimen exclaimed. He also knew that Su Zimo was under the Master Betrayal Curse. Once he attacked the Sect Master of the Academy, Su Zimo would definitely die. Fu. The Sect Master of the Academy chuckled indifferently. He would not be affected much if Su Zimo's Essence Spirit was destroyed by the Master Betrayal Curse. He wanted the flesh of Su Zimo's Grade 12 creation Green Lotus. The unfortunate thing was that he would not be able to obtain any information about Desolate Marshal of the Fiend Domain from Su Zimo's Essence Spirit. The Grand Pure Purple Cloud Talisman shattered and a purple light flashed before disappearing. The next moment, the purple light appeared in the consciousness of the Sect Master of the Academy. Fu. The Sect Master of the Academy chuckled indifferently. Naturally, the Sect Master of the Academy could tell the origin of the talisman. This was a talisman that targeted the Essence Spirit. Not only could it kill immortal kings, it might even severely injure emperors. He did not know why Su Zimo had the Grand Pure Purple Cloud Talisman. However, this was merely a single variable. Such variables were completely within his expectations. Suddenly, a Scarlet Jade Manual appeared in the consciousness and essence spirit of the Sect Master of the Academy. The Grand Pure Jade Manual. In the Three Pure Ones Jade Manual, the Pure Jade Manual refined one's body, while the Grand Pure Jade Manual refined the essence spirit. At that moment, the Grand Pure Jade Manual floated above the essence spirit of the Sect Master of the Academy, and unfolded rapidly. Every word on the Jade Manual emitted a resplendent divine light that resisted the descending purple light. The essence spirits fought silently. The Grand Pure Jade Manual was not only a secret skill sutra, it was also a defensive dermic treasure for the essence spirit. The Sect Master of the Academy used the Grand Pure Jade Manual to almost perfectly defend against the power of the Grand Pure Purple Cloud Talisman. Is that all you've got? The Sect Master of the Academy looked at Su Zimo and asked with a fake smile. When he saw that the Sect Master of the Academy was unscathed and the smile on his face did not even disappear, Su Zimo's face turned pale and he was disheartened. Even the Grand Pure Purple Cloud Talisman could not injure the Sect Master of the Academy. Su Zimo's essence spirit was already on the verge of collapse after he released the Grand Pure Purple Cloud Talisman. If not for the green light spewing out from the Grade 12 creation Green Lotus, it would have long collapsed. Furthermore, the power of the Master Betrayal Curse had completely erupted and seeped into the Green Lotus essence spirit. Su Zimo's life force was decreasing continuously. If it was a body with an ordinary bloodline, he would have died the moment the Grand Pure Purple Cloud Talisman was released. Su Zimo could only barely hang on thanks to the powerful vitality of the Grade 12 creation Green Lotus. However, he could not hold on for long either. At the same time, Old Qimen attacked. Senior brother, look who this is. Suddenly, Old Qimen took out a painting from his storage bag and tore it apart, shouting. After the painting was torn apart, an old man suddenly materialized. His grayish-white hair was combed neatly and his eyes were as bright as the stars, exuding an endless might between his brows. When he saw the old man, the Sect Master of the Academy was slightly stunned. Unfilial son, why aren't you turning back? The gray-haired old man glared at the Sect Master of the Academy not far away and hollered. The Sect Master of the Academy snapped out of his stupor before long and said slowly, "Old thing, is this the method you left for senior brother to keep me in check? This is just a painting with Dermic Dao condensed. In fact, even if you revive right now, I can destroy you today." 9 Duns of Qimen. The sect master of the academy hollered. Heaven done! As soon as he said that, a huge power suddenly surged into the sect master of the academy's body from the sky. It was as though that secret skill could draw power from the skies. Earth done! The sect master of the academy spoke again. A blinding light burst forth from beneath his feet and enveloped him. His aura increased once more and rose rapidly. Human done! Wind done! Cloud done! Dragon done! Tiger done! God done! Ghost done! The sect master of the academy released 9 secret skills in succession. The aura on his body became extremely complicated. Successor could clearly sense that with the wind done, the sect master of the academy's movement technique improved exponentially and he became more agile like the wind. When the wind done was released, his figure was like a cloud that could change at will and was erratic. The dragon done secret skill caused the aura of the dragon race to surge from the sect master of the academy. In fact, a resounding dragon roar burst forth from his mouth. With the god done, the sect master of the academy's body shone with a bedazzling golden light. The final ghost done made the sect master of the academy look even more sinister and ghostly phantoms appeared with his movements. Chapter 2698. 2698 Quasi-Emperor. 2698 Quasi-Emperor. With the secret skill, the 9 duns of Qimen, the sect master of the academy's aura became extremely complicated. It seemed as though the 9 parts of the secret skill could borrow the power of different forms and living beings from other races to augment himself and increase his combat strength. The sect master of the academy charged towards the gray-haired old man in midair. Before he arrived, the old man could not hold on any longer and his aura was completely suppressed. Old Qimen leaped up and released his perfected grotto heaven. He stood beside the gray-haired old man, prepared to fight the sect master of the academy. When he saw that, the sect master of the academy smiled gently. This is convenient. I can show you my methods. A gigantic grotto heaven was released behind the sect master of the academy as well. In his grotto heaven, it was as though there were vast stars surging, a rumbling mortal realm and everything else in the world. This grotto heaven was all-encompassing. What was even more terrifying was that the grotto heaven of the sect master of the academy emitted a shuddering power, as though it was suppressing everything. Your grotto heaven. Old Qimen looked at the perfected grotto heaven behind the sect master of the academy, and his pupils constricted as a chill ran down his spine. Can you feel it? The sect master of the academy chuckled. You've already become a quasi-emperor, Old Qimen exclaimed. The grotto heaven of the sect master of the academy contained a trace of world power. Although it was only a single trace, the difference was immeasurable and there was an insurmountable gap between their grotto heavens. Successor's expression was dark and his aura became weaker. When he heard what Old Qimen said, he was enlightened. It was no wonder why the martial Dao prime body sensed a trace of the aura of an emperor when immortal King Long Night died. Successor sighed internally. The power of the sect master of the academy had far exceeded his imagination. Up till this point of the chess game, everything in variables were within the control of the sect master of the academy. Even Old Qimen's participation was within the sect master of the academy's calculations. The sect master of the academy even calculated that the previous sect master might have left some methods to deal with him. That was the reason why he laid low for so many years and did not attack Old Qimen. But now, the sect master of the academy had become a quasi-emperor. Old Qimen was severely injured previously and had yet to recover. Even with the trump card left behind by the previous sect master, he could not defend against the sect master of the academy, who was a quasi-emperor. The sect master of the academy had planned this chess game for so many years and had finally reached the final step. When the time comes, the sect master of the academy would not only be able to obtain the green lotus flesh, he would also be able to obtain 2 complete taboo mystic classics, the Yin Yang Talisman Sutra, get rid of Old Qimen and gain complete control of Heaven and Earth Academy. The web of the sect master of the academy's scheme was way too big. He was the only one who could swallow so many things in one go. Even with his precise manipulations, divinations and calculations, the sect master of the academy still had a trump card. His quasi-emperor strength. That move alone was enough to kill too many variables. Everyone was his chess piece. How could they win this game? Boom! Old Qian's perfected grotto heaven collided with the grotto heaven of the sect master of the academy with a loud bang. Almost instantly, cracks appeared on Old Qian's perfected grotto heaven, and it could collapse at any moment. His perfected grotto heaven had once been shattered on the spot by a single look from the tombkeeper, and he was severely injured. Until now, his injuries had yet to recover. Right now, against a perfected grotto heaven that contained a trace of world power, Old Qian could no longer hold on. His expression changed starkly and he spat out a mouthful of blood. The gray-haired old man he summoned moved and stood in front of the sect master of the academy. You won't be able to defend against me. The sect master of the academy snorted coldly. Open door, rest door, life door, injury door, delusion door, scenery door, death door, fear door. 8 doors open. The sect master of the academy's gaze intensified as he released another secret skill. Suddenly, gigantic doors appeared in his grotto heaven and emitted a terrifying power, increasing the might of his grotto heaven. This was the 8 doors of Qimen Duanjia. The gray-haired old man could not defend against the 8 gigantic doors that appeared and was minced into nothingness by the terrifying power that spewed out. Under normal circumstances, if the sect master of the academy was only at the perfected grotto heaven realm, the previous sect master summoned by the painting would be enough to suppress him. However, the sect master of the academy had planned everything. Old Qian realized that the sect master of the academy had already grown to a point where he was no match for the latter. Right now, he could only choose to escape. The moment the gray-haired old man fought against the sect master of the academy, Old Qian made use of the remnant aftershock released by the two of them and arrived beside Su Zimo in a flash. Go! Old Qian hollered and pulled Su Zimo's arm, tearing through the void casually, prepared to flee into a spatial tunnel and escape. Old Qian could tell that Su Zimo was at death's door and did not have much time left. However, regardless whether Su Zimo could survive, he had to leave with the latter no matter what. Even if Su Zimo died, he could not leave the grade 12 creation Green Lotus to the sect master of the academy. A mocking look flashed through the depths of the sect master of the academy's eyes as he looked at the two of them fleeing in panic and chased after them unhurriedly. At the same time, in the skies above the Battle Kingdom, the battle between King Yun Yu and the 5 other Immortal King experts against Lin Zhan and Immortal Queen Ling Long was still ongoing. Both sides had already summoned their grotto heavens, and it was difficult to determine an outcome right away. Immortal Queen Ling Long suddenly felt that something was amiss. The sect master of the academy opposite her seemed to be much weaker than she had imagined. Under normal circumstances, apart from receiving the legacy of the academy, the sect master of the academy also cultivated Qimen Duanjia of the Technique Reserve. Qimen Duanjia did not only contain divination techniques, but also extremely powerful combat dermic formulations. From the beginning to the end, the sect master of the academy had never released anything. On the contrary, up till this point of the battle, the sect master of the academy had been dodging and intentionally avoiding the battle, as though he was hiding something. Immortal Queen Ling Long stared fixedly at the sect master of the academy. Under her gaze, the sect master of the academy seemed to feel guilty and avoided her gaze. He's not the sect master of the academy. Immortal Queen Ling Long made a judgment immediately. The sect master of the academy was extremely wise and his temperament was extremely strong. With his unshakable Tao heart, how could he possibly dodge when met with the gaze of another person? If the person before them was not the sect master of the academy, where was the real sect master of the academy? This is bad. Immortal Queen Ling Long was shocked. Under normal circumstances, she had already erased the traces left behind by Su Zimo and would not be discovered. However, her opponent was the sect master of the academy after all. The only possibility Immortal Queen Ling Long could think of was that the true sect master of the academy had already gone after Su Zimo. In reality, Immortal Queen Ling Long's guess was indeed not bad. However, her guess, reaction and even her subsequent actions were within the expectations of the sect master of the academy. Zimo is in danger. Immortal Queen Ling Long sent a voice transmission to Lin Zhan's spirit consciousness. You go and save him. I'll hold them back. Lin Zhan sent a voice transmission. If you can't defeat the enemies, don't get entangled with them. Bring Zimo back here and I'll protect him even if I have to risk my life. Immortal Queen Ling Long hesitated for a moment before making a decision. Her figure flashed and she instantly withdrew from the battlefield, escaping far away. Chapter 2699. 2699 Devour. 2699 Devour. The Wither Star. The sect master of the academy watched old Qian drag the barely breathing Su Zimo into a spatial tunnel. Even after the void closed, he had a calm expression. He merely raised his palm and slapped the void in front of him. Crack! A tremendous force suddenly descended and shattered the spatial tunnel where old Qian and Su Zimo escaped into. The two of them fell out of the void once more and landed on the Wither Star. You guys are way too naive to think that you can escape in front of me. The sect master of the academy strode over with a calm expression and a mocking look in his eyes. Old Qian had already been injured by the sect master of the academy earlier on. Now that he received another blow, he spat out a mouthful of blood with a dispirited expression. Right now, he could barely even stand up, let alone escape. Sigh. Old Qian's gaze darkened as he sighed internally. He glanced at Su Zimo beside him with a look of pity. He was already in his later years. Even if he died, he had lived for hundreds of thousands of years. However, Su Zimo was way too young. It would be a pity if he died prematurely. Su Zimo did not do anything wrong. He merely possessed the Green Lotus bloodline and was unfortunately targeted by the sect master of the academy. Even old Qian himself could not escape the scheme of the sect master of the academy. How could Su Zimo go against him? Initially, I wanted to take you in as my disciple. Unfortunately, we're not fated to be together in this life. At that moment, old Qian had mixed feelings and countless thoughts flashed through his mind. In the end, he bore a carefree smile. This is good as well. At the very least, we won't be lonely having one another as companions on the way to the netherworld. Old Qian was already prepared to die. However, Su Zimo had yet to give up. Since his death was unavoidable, he had to take a final gamble before his death and do his best to drag the sect master of the academy down as well. The sect master of the academy reached out and grabbed Su Zimo's forehead. He was prepared to capture Su Zimo's essence spirit first and try to search his soul for some useful information before the latter died. Su Zimo was expressionless as he circulated his visual technique silently. Phew! Suddenly, a blinding light burst forth from his right eye and shone towards the sect master of the academy. Both parties were extremely close together. Since visual techniques were instantaneous, it was difficult for the sect master of the academy to dodge. To be precise, the sect master of the academy had no intention of dodging. The visual technique landed in his eyes and vanished without creating a single ripple, like a stone tossed into the ocean. The sect master of the academy paused. He had also cultivated extremely powerful visual techniques. Furthermore, the difference in their cultivation realms was immense. That was the reason why he was unafraid of Su Zimo's visual technique attacks. The visual technique did not manage to injure him. However, the sect master of the academy did not expect his eyes to still feel a tinge of burning pain. Very good. You actually made me feel a trace of pain. The sect master of the academy came before Su Zimo and smiled gently. I'll take away your eyes first. As he said that, the sect master of the academy extended two fingers and stabbed towards Su Zimo's eyes. However, the moment the two fingers of the sect master of the academy touched Su Zimo's eyes, they could not pierce through, as though they had touched something extremely hard. Immediately after, the sect master of the academy's expression changed starkly. A drop of pitch-black ink seemed to have seeped out of Su Zimo's left eye and spread rapidly towards him. The palm of the sect master of the academy was devoured by the darkness before long. He did not feel any pain nor was there any blood. However, his palm had already vanished. The cold darkness continued to spread up his wrist and devoured his arm. The sect master of the academy wanted to retreat. However, his feet seemed to have fallen into a quagmire and he could not move. As for himself, he felt that he was falling into a bottomless abyss. No matter how he struggled, he could not escape. Finally, a hint of panic flashed through the sect master of the academy's eyes. This was Su Zimo's counterattack. The illumination eye earlier on was merely for the sake of the scene before him. Back when Su Zimo entered the Emperor's tomb to pluck the 7 glow immortal ginseng, he was devoured by a strange darkness power and almost died. Thankfully, the nether glow stone in his left eye absorbed the darkness power continuously and he was able to survive. In the end, with the 7 glow immortal ginseng, flesh grew again. As for that terrifying darkness power, it was sealed in the nether glow stone. Up till this point of his cultivation, even though he had already entered the perfected 1 realm and his green lotus true body had grown to grade 12, Su Zimo was still unable to channel the darkness power in the nether glow stone. Since he could not activate it, he could only rely on the power of the Sect Master of the Academy. Now that he saw the panic in the Sect Master of the Academy's eyes, Su Zimo's lips twitched as he smiled happily. The Sect Master of the Academy could divine the heavenly secrets, fate, the human heart and karma. However, there were still things beyond his divination. The Sect Master of the Academy calmed down quickly and harumphed coldly. He channeled the 8 gigantic doors of the grotto heaven behind him and charged towards the darkness ahead. Beams of light burst forth from the 8 doors, wanting to dispel the darkness. However, all the light was devoured by the darkness. Even the 8 doors condensed by the Sect Master of the Academy could not hold on against the darkness power and swayed. Emperor Realm. The Sect Master of the Academy gritted his teeth and said, only such pure world power released by the Emperor Realm could have such a huge impact on his perfected grotto heaven and the 8 doors. This was not even the level of a Quasi-Emperor, but the true power of an actual emperor. It was indeed not surprising that the Sect Master of the Academy did not expect this. Even the body of an immortal king could not seal such power of the Emperor Realm, let alone a perfected immortal. If such power of the Emperor Realm surged into the body of an immortal king, he would die immediately. The Sect Master of the Academy had never expected Su Zimo to have such a terrifying power of the Emperor Realm sealed in his eyes. Of course, the Sect Master of the Academy made use of the power of the perfected grotto heaven and the 8 doors to obtain a breather and broke free from the darkness rapidly. After all, that darkness power could not unleash its true might without the control of an emperor. Even so, the Sect Master of the Academy still paid a considerable price. One of his palms was completely devoured by the darkness and vanished. The darkness power was still lingering at his wrist and could not be removed immediately. Naturally, his palm could not recover either. Ahahaha! Old Qimen, who was at the side, burst into laughter when he saw that. Both Old Qimen and Su Zimo knew that they would not be able to escape death today. However, the fact that they could see the Sect Master of the Academy in such a sorry state before they died made them extremely delighted. They had finally turned the tides once. The Sect Master of the Academy sneered. Don't be smug. When this darkness dissipates, the 2 of you will still have to die. The darkness power sealed in the nether glow stone was limited. Now that it was triggered by the Sect Master of the Academy, it was released continuously. However, it would soon dry up. Chapter 2700. 2700 Reappearance of the Emperor's Tomb. 2700 Reappearance of the Emperor's Tomb. Right then, a crack suddenly appeared in the void behind the Wither Star and a gigantic shadow appeared like a tall mountain. Against that shadow, the Wither Star was as tiny as a piece of gravel. The shadow was lifeless and emitted a shuddering might. The Sect Master of the Academy, Old Qimen and Su Zimo looked up instinctively. The shadow floated in the starry skies. If one were to look at it from afar, the shadow did not look like a mountain but a gigantic tomb. The Emperor's Tomb. Old Qimen's expression changed as he exclaimed. Su Zimo was shocked as well. The mysterious tomb that had once buried an immortal emperor and was filled with curses had appeared once more. At the same time, Su Zimo was extremely decisive and made the last choice within his capabilities. He soared into the air and charged in the direction of the Emperor's tomb with a resolute expression. The green lotus essence spirit forcefully channeled the grand pure purple cloud talisman and was already on the verge of collapse. Furthermore, he attacked the Sect Master of the Academy, and the Master Betrayal curse was completely released. The green lotus essence spirit was also completely infiltrated by the power of the curse. He could no longer survive. The only thing he could do was not let the Sect Master of the Academy succeed. He wanted all the plans of the sect master of the academy to be in vain.
The Emperor's tomb was filled with a powerful curse. If black immortals entered, there was a chance of them returning alive. If perfected immortals barged in, they would definitely die. The higher one's cultivation realm, the more ferocious the curse would be. The reason why this emperor's tomb was terrifying was because there wasn't just a single emperor buried within. There were many immortal kings as well. No immortal king or emperor expert could come out of the emperor's tomb alive. Now that Su Zimo had the cultivation of a perfected immortal, there was no way he could survive if he barged into the emperor's tomb. However, that was the case for him to begin with. At the very most, he would just die once more if he barged into the emperor's tomb. Most importantly, he could throw his green lotus true body into the emperor's tomb and prevent the sect master of the academy from succeeding. The sect master of the academy's heart skipped a beat and he saw through Su Zimo's thoughts instantly. His gaze was cold as he flashed, prepared to stop Su Zimo. At the same time, old Qimen understood Su Zimo's intentions. There was not much he could do. The only thing he could do was fight to the death and try his best to help Su Zimo stall for time. Old Qimen took a deep breath and channeled his spirit consciousness, releasing another secret skill that struck towards the sect master of the academy. You must be tired of living. Without even looking, the sect master of the academy glared at Su Zimo, who was in front of him the entire time. Waving his robes casually, he destroyed old Qimen's secret skill. At the same time, the sleeves of his robes struck old Qimen. A tremendous power surged into his body and the sound of bones cracking sounded from old Qimen's body. Instantly, he flew hundreds of feet away and fell into the sand and dust, his fate unknown. With that slight delay, Su Zimo was closer to the emperor's tomb. Right then, a gigantic vortex suddenly opened beneath the emperor's tomb, emitting an extremely strong devouring power as it forcefully dragged Su Zimo over. Su Zimo bit the tip of his tongue gently and tried his best to stay awake. He turned back and glanced at the sect master of the academy with a weak expression. However, he still smiled and said, "Sect master, you failed to divine something again." Against Su Zimo's mockery, the sect master of the academy was expressionless and continued charging towards the emperor's tomb without any intention of stopping. The appearance of the emperor's tomb is indeed not within my calculations. It's a variable. The sect master of the academy said indifferently, however, you seem to have forgotten something. Half of the bloodline of the witch race flows in my body and I know the best witch curses. The curse in the emperor's tomb can't threaten me. When he heard that, Su Zimo's heart sank. At that moment, he was only a step away from the emperor's tomb. In his current state, he could not defend against the immense devouring power at the entrance of the emperor's tomb at all. He could only let the emperor's tomb devour him. At the same time, on the other side of the Wither Star, the void split open and a figure rushed out. Immortal Queen Ling Long had arrived. The moment she appeared, she saw the sect master of the academy chasing after Su Zimo towards the emperor's tomb one after another. Well, there was still a distance between Immortal Queen Ling Long and the emperor's tomb. Even if she wanted to stop it, it would be too late. From the corner of his eye, Su Zimo caught a glimpse of Immortal Queen Ling Long. Before entering the emperor's tomb, he took a deep breath and used his last bit of strength to remind loudly, "Senior, leave quickly. Be careful of." Before Su Zimo could finish, he was devoured by the entrance of the emperor's tomb. Immortal Queen Ling Long was smart and was good at divination and deduction. When she saw this scene, she quickly understood many things. The person Su Zimo wanted to remind her to be careful was clearly the sect master of the academy. As for her, there was only one thing on her that was extremely attractive to the sect master of the academy. Another section of the technique reserve, the 6-Ren divine calculation. Or rather, it was possible that the sect master of the academy had intentionally guided her to rush over now. Immortal Queen Ling Long sensed her surroundings slightly. A huge battle had clearly just broken out on the Wither Star. Among the remnant power, there was the aura of the Emperor realm. Could it be? Immortal Queen Ling Long's heart skipped a beat. On the other side, the sect master of the academy noticed the appearance of Immortal Queen Ling Long at the same time. However, he did not hesitate and decided to capture Su Zimo first. Compared to Immortal Queen Ling Long's 6-Ren divine calculation, Su Zimo's grade 12 Green Lotus true body was clearly more important. It was not only the flesh and blood of the grade 12 Green Lotus itself, but the treasures it derived as well as the Yin-Yang Talisman Sutra. That sutra alone was even more precious than the 6 Ren Divine Calculation. As for the 6 Ren Divine Calculation, he would have other opportunities in the future. At that thought, the sect master of the academy did not stop and continued charging towards the emperor's tomb, prepared to capture Su Zimo. However, the moment he arrived at the entrance of the emperor's tomb, a tremendous spirit consciousness pressure suddenly emitted from it and enveloped down like the firmament. It was unstoppable. The sect master of the academy was shocked and released all his spirit consciousness hurriedly to defend. Bang! However, he was still suppressed by the terrifying spirit consciousness pressure and collided heavily against the Wither Star, creating a huge pit with a trace of blood flowing from the corner of his mouth. Emperor Realm. That was the spirit consciousness power of the Emperor Realm. The sect master of the academy stood up from the Wither Star with difficulty, and looked at the emperor's tomb above his head with a flickering gaze and a bewildered expression. How was that possible? There was indeed an emperor expert buried in the emperor's tomb. However, why would the spirit consciousness pressure of an emperor realm expert descend? Furthermore, the spirit consciousness pressure earlier on was definitely not from an emperor of the witch race. Could there be other emperor experts who could defend against the power of the curse and enter the emperor's tomb first? The sect master of the academy had an ugly expression. The appearance of the emperor's tomb was too sudden and completely exceeded his expectations. It would have been fine if it was just the emperor's tomb. However, what was with that terrifying spirit consciousness in the emperor's tomb? When immortal Queen Ling Long saw this, her heart sank. Su Zimo would definitely die once he entered the emperor's tomb. The only thing worth rejoicing about was that the sect master of the academy had spent a lot of effort to set up such a shocking chess game. In the end, he was just one move behind and missed a variable, failing to obtain the grade 12 creation Green Lotus. Chapter 2701 2701 Nothing 2701 Nothing. Immortal Queen Ling Long did not stay on the Wither Star. Taking advantage of the fact that the sect master of the academy's attention was still on the emperor's tomb, she left decisively. After Su Zimo entered the emperor's tomb, it gradually disappeared into the sea of stars. The sect master of the academy looked in the direction where the emperor's tomb disappeared with a dark expression. He had completely lost his perception of Su Zimo. Su Zimo would definitely not be able to resolve the master betrayal curse. Furthermore, this lad was definitely dead. However, the tomb was filled with powerful curses. Su Zimo was surrounded by them, so much so that the aura of the master betrayal curse was concealed. Moreover, so what if he could sense Su Zimo's location? It was clear that something unknown had happened to the emperor's tomb. Now, even if he were to enter, given his cautious personality, he might not barge in rashly. A strong indignation surged in the sect master of the academy's heart. This plan and chess game lasted for 10,000 years. It could be said to be seamless and included everyone. The development of the situation had always been within his control. Once he succeeded, he would obtain unimaginable benefits. More importantly, all of this was done silently. Anyone who knew his trump card would be killed by him in this chess game. Unexpectedly, at the final juncture, an unforeseen event happened, causing the entire chessboard to fall to the ground. The most important grade 12 creation Green Lotus was not obtained. Even the treasures derived from it, including the Yin-Yang Talisman Sutra, could not be obtained. There was also immortal Queen Ling Long's 6 Ren Divine Calculation. First, he was injured by the Emperor Realm darkness power sealed in Su Zimo's left eye, and then attacked by the powerful pressure of the Emperor's tomb. It was no longer suitable for him to attack, and he could only let immortal Queen Ling Long escape back to the Battle Kingdom. Although old Qimen was eliminated, he was not an important chess piece in this chess game at all. He had cultivated to the Quasi-Emperor realm and could kill old Qimen at any moment. After thinking about everything, the sect master of the academy realized that he only obtained a single pure jade manual out of everything. Thankfully, all 3 jade manuals were now in his hands. That complete taboo mystic classic could also help him take the next step to advance to the Emperor realm. The sect master of the academy released his spirit consciousness and began to scan the Wither Star continuously. After a long time, he could not find any traces of old Qimen. He's not dead? Could he have escaped? The sect master of the academy frowned. Old Qimen was no longer a threat to him.
He was severely injured by the power of a Quasi-Emperor.
Coupled with his previous injuries, even if he did not die, he would not be able to last long. There was still a mess on the Battle Kingdom side. The sect master of the academy tore through the void and left. Green Firmament Immortal Domain. Battle Kingdom City. Immortal Queen Ling Long teleported back from the Wither Star and descended on the battlefield. She looked at King Yunyu and the others who were still fighting and sneered. King Yunyu, you guys have been played by the sect master of the academy, but you're still fighting here. Right then, the sect master of the academy and Elder 8 left the battlefield at the same time. What did you say?
King Yunyu and the others were already wary of the sect master of the academy.
When they heard Immortal Queen Ling Long's words, they stopped and shouted. Immortal Queen Ling Long sneered, the sect master of the academy asked you guys to fight here, but his true body has long gone to chase after Su Zimo. King Yunyu, King Jin and the others were no fools.
They reacted immediately and turned to look at the sect master of the academy beside them. Right then, the true body of the sect master of the academy had already returned from the Wither Star and descended here. There's indeed a misunderstanding here. The sect master of the academy had a calm expression and looked at King Yunyu and the others without dodging.
At that moment, it was no longer realistic to encourage King Yunyu and the others to fight Lin Zhan. The most important thing for him right now was to get rid of the suspicion.
The sect master of the academy said, I divined the location of that lad and realized that he wanted to escape from the heavenly world.
I didn't have time to inform everyone and could only head there to stop him first.
To think that the Emperor's tomb would suddenly appear and he would rush into it.
Even I was helpless.
Whether or not those words were true, the most important thing was that the sect master of the academy had removed suspicion from himself completely.
When Lin Zhan heard that, he was shocked and furious. He subconsciously looked at Immortal Queen Ling Long to confirm the authenticity of this matter. Immortal Queen Ling Long had a plan in mind and originally intended to set up the sect master of the academy. She wanted to say that the sect master of the academy had already obtained the grade 12 creation Green Lotus. That way, King Yunyu and the others would definitely target the sect master of the academy and they would fight internally.
Unexpectedly, the sect master of the academy seemed to have already guessed the situation he might face. After saying that, he conjured a dermic art in front of everyone and touched his glabella gently, causing an image to reappear in midair. This was a scene in the memories of the sect master of the academy.
The entire scene lasted for only a few breaths.
However, it was from the perspective of the sect master of the academy, and it could be clearly seen that Su Zimo was devoured by the Emperor's tomb. Nothing could prove himself more than this method. That was because this scene came from the memories of the sect master of the academy.
The sect master of the academy's move was truly stunning. It was equivalent to a reverse soul search. Everyone present was a top Immortal King expert, but no one dared to try this. Initially, King Yunyu and the others were still a little resentful towards the sect master of the academy. At that moment, they frowned and glanced at him warily.
You! Lin Zhan glared at the sect master of the academy with a murderous aura. He naturally understood that if not for the sect master of the academy's coercion, Su Zimo would not have committed suicide by charging into the Emperor's tomb.
Lin Zhan was prepared to advance and kill the sect master of the academy to avenge Su Zimo. Don't go! Immortal Queen Ling Long noticed Lin Zhan's actions and hurriedly sent a voice transmission with her spirit consciousness to remind him. At the same time, Immortal Queen Ling Long's figure flashed and she arrived beside Lin Zhan. She looked at him deeply and shook her head slightly. Immortal Queen Ling Long's expression was strange and her tone was nervous. The couple had known each other for many years and their hearts were connected. Lin Zhan knew that there must be a reason.
He took a deep breath and suppressed the anger and killing intent in his heart for the time being. The sect master of the academy remained calm but lamented internally that it was a pity. With Su Zimo's death, he no longer had any reason to target Lin Zhan and Immortal Queen Ling Long. However, if Lin Zhan had attacked him first, Immortal Queen Ling Long would definitely have been implicated. Although he was injured,
He could also take the opportunity to suppress immortal Queen Ling Long and obtain the 6 Ren divine calculation. Where did the Emperor's tomb appear? King Jin asked in a deep voice. Even if Su Zimo was forced into the Emperor's tomb, he planned to take a look at the scene. The Wither Star. The sect master of the academy did not hide anything. King Jin's expression was cold as he tore through the void and left. King Yun Yu, Immortal King Yen Yang and Immortal King Qing Yang left one after another and descended on the Wither Star. It had never been so lively on this dead star. However, no matter how King Yun Yu and the others searched the Wither Star, they found nothing. In the end, they left one after another. Peace returned to the Wither Star. After an unknown period of time, a crack suddenly appeared in the sky above the Wither Star and a figure fell out. He fell heavily to the ground and was covered in dust, looking a little disheveled. Bloody hell, that smarts. The person mumbled as he got up and looked over expectantly. When he saw the barren surroundings, the person's heart sank. Fuck! What kind of godforsaken place is this? Chapter 2702. 2702 Successor. 2702 Successor. The person was dressed in a grey robe and had a fair and beardless face. He had an ordinary appearance but his eyes were bright and spirited. Sigh! The grey-robed cultivator looked at the surroundings with a disappointed expression and sighed. To think that I, Lin Xuanji, have ascended for many years but I've always been unlucky and suffered many hardships. Up till now, I'm only a grade 7 heaven immortal. Others would come across all sorts of opportunities and fortuitous encounters by accident. I spent a lot of effort and methods to divine that there was a huge opportunity here. How did I end up being teleported to this lousy place? The grey-robed cultivator was none other than Lin Xuanji of Tianhuang Mainland. In Tianhuang Mainland, as a disciple of the storyteller of Enigma Palace, Lin Xuanji had a noble status and enjoyed playing around in the mortal world. However, after ascending to the upper world, the surrounding environment became extremely cruel. He had to use his full strength just to survive, let alone play around in the mortal world. Lin Xuanji tossed and turned and fled everywhere, experiencing countless dangers as though all his luck was left in the lower worlds. Thankfully, he managed to avert danger many times thanks to the Dermic Tao of Enigma Palace. Lin Xuanji looked at the desolate and dead ancient star, and could naturally sense that there were no traces of life or heaven and earth essence qi on it. It was impossible for such an ancient star to have any opportunities after being abandoned for so many years. Sigh. Lin Xuanji sighed again. When will my luck finally turn around? The upper world is way too tough to be in. Had I known earlier, I would have stayed in the lower worlds. It's so darn tiring being hunted by everyone day and night here. For this opportunity, Lin Xuanji sold all the treasures in his storage bag in exchange for a teleportation talisman. To think that this teleportation talisman would send him to such a desolate ancient star. Right now, Lin Xuanji's storage bag was emptier than his stomach. He did not even have a single essence spirit stone left. Right then, the ground not far away suddenly moved. Sensing something, Lin Xuanji looked over warily. The ground bulged slightly, as though something was about to pop out. Right when Lin Xuanji was bewildered, the ground suddenly split open and a black figure appeared from the ground, facing Lin Xuanji. Fuck! What the hell is this? Lin Xuanji was shocked and his legs went weak, almost falling to the ground. Your name is Lin Xuanji. Suddenly, the black figure spoke in a hoarse and aged voice. It's a human? Lin Xuanji snapped back to his senses and focused his gaze. The black figure seemed to be an old man. The old man's face and body were covered in mud, revealing only a pair of eyes that glared straight at Lin Xuanji. Lin Xuanji's spirit consciousness swept past the old man and detected that his cultivation realm was only that of an earth immortal. Furthermore, his life force was weak, as though he was at the end of his rope and could die at any moment. Old man, what are you doing underground? You gave me a shock. Lin Xuanji snapped. Your name is Lin Xuanji. The old man continued to stare at Lin Xuanji and asked once more. And if it is? Lin Xuanji raised his brows slightly. The old man nodded. Young man, your divination was very accurate. Your opportunity is right here.
Oh, where?
Lin Xuanji asked doubtfully. The old man pointed at himself.
I'm it. You.
Lin Xuanji was stunned for a moment before sighing. He went forward and cast a dermic art to remove the dirt on the old man.
Old man.
Lin Xuanji sighed. There's not much I can do. I can only help you tidy up briefly so that you can leave this world with dignity. Suddenly, the old man reached out with his withered palm and grabbed Lin Xuanji's wrist.
You don't believe in my methods?
Lin Xuanji wanted to retract his arm and retreat. However, he realized that the old man's palm was like an iron hoop that was firmly embedded in his wrist and he could not move at all. Instantly, Lin Xuanji understood that he had encountered an expert.
Senior, you're amazing.
Lin Xuanji's smile returned to his face and he complimented immediately.
The old man said in a deep voice, The inheritance of my lineage is of great importance.
If you accept my inheritance, you have to shoulder the responsibilities. Lin Xuanji had a headache when he heard that. This old man's origins were unknown and he appeared out of nowhere. How could he dare to accept someone else's inheritance casually?
Furthermore, who knew if there were any traps for an opportunity inheritance that came knocking on his door?
Lin Xuanji grinned. Senior, I'm slow-witted and my endowment is too poor. It's easy for me to tarnish the reputation of your lineage. If you want to find a successor, I'll help you. Don't worry, I'll definitely put in a lot of effort and find you a successor with excellent talent and foundation. Lin Xuanji only wanted to escape as soon as possible and get as far away from the old man as possible.
No.
The old man's tone was firm.
You're the one.
I like you.
What do you even see in me?
Lin Xuanji could not help but roll his eyes and mutter, We've only met by chance and don't know each other. Your name is Lin Xuanji. The old man said. That's right. Lin Xuanji replied. The old man said expressionlessly, In my sect, everyone calls me Old Xian.
And?
Lin Xuanji asked. Old Xian said slowly, Both our names have the word Xian in them. Therefore we're fated. Lin Xuanji. Senior, aren't you being a little rash? Lin Xuanji asked carefully. The old man said, This is the will of the heavens. You know some divination techniques to begin with. The fact that you're able to come here is fate. Senior, I don't know how strong you might be, but you definitely do have a way of fooling people. Lin Xuanji grinned. He was from Enigma Palace and had once traveled the mortal world as the storyteller. He traveled the 4 seas and had seen all sorts of people who could tell tall tales. He was also an expert in that to begin with. When the old man saw that Lin Xuanji refused to agree, his initially turbid eyes dimmed even more. Seemingly dispirited, the old man gradually loosened his grip and shook his head. Forget it, forget it. If you're unwilling, I can't force you either. Lin Xuanji flung his wrist and pouted slightly. The old man murmured softly, Initially, I had a better successor with a bloodline of the creation Green Lotus. Unfortunately, he was harmed by others. Sigh. Green Lotus bloodline. Lin Xuanji's ears twitched as he vaguely realized something. He asked hurriedly, Senior, was the successor you mentioned earlier on surnamed Su? His name is Su Zimo. The old man nodded and looked at Lin Xuanji in surprise. You know him? Of course. Lin Xuanji slapped his thigh and said excitedly, Senior, he and I are like brothers. We're practically family. Senior, what did you say about him being harmed earlier on? My dear brother is dead? Lin Xuanji asked hurriedly.
The old man was silent and merely nodded.
Lin Xuanji clenched his fist slightly and asked, Senior, tell me more about my brother Su. Who harmed him? The old man glanced at Lin Xuanji. We've only met by chance and don't know each other. Why should I tell you?
Fuck.
This old man is vengeful. Lin Xuanji smiled and said hurriedly, Senior, please accept me as your successor. I'll definitely not let down the inheritance of your lineage. Chapter 2703. 2703 Martial Domain Realm. 2703 Martial Domain Realm. Green Firmament Immortal Domain. The sect master of the academy, King Yunyu, and the other immortal kings dispersed. Some experts and factions that were initially camping around the Battle Kingdom restlessly also calmed down temporarily. The combat strength displayed by Lin Zhan was way too powerful. He fought against 6 immortal kings almost single-handedly. As long as Lin Zhan presided over the Battle Kingdom, it would be difficult for anyone to take it down. Battle Kingdom Palace. Why did you stop me from attacking the sect master of the academy previously? Lin Zhan looked at Immortal Queen Ling Long beside him and asked with a frown. Immortal Queen Ling Long had a grim expression.
The sect master of the academy hid his cultivation. His combat strength should have already broken through beyond the Grotto Heaven realm.
Lin Zhan's heart skipped a beat. Immortal Queen Ling Long recounted the scene she saw on the Wither Star. There were still some remnant aura of a huge battle on the Wither Star.
It's very likely that the sect master of the academy has the cultivation of a Quasi-Emperor.
A Quasi-Emperor. Lin Zhan knew very well that although Quasi-Emperors were worlds apart from emperors, Quasi-Emperors meant that they were already half a step into the Emperor realm. Throughout history, countless immortal king experts had stopped here and could not reach the Emperor realm for the rest of their lives. From this, it could be seen how difficult it was to reach the Emperor realm. Not to mention that Lin Zhan's injuries had yet to recover. Even if he did, he might not be able to defend against the power of a Quasi-Emperor.
The sect master of the academy has hidden himself too well,
Lin Zhan said in a deep voice. Immortal Queen Ling Long said, if I'm not wrong, the 3 Pure Ones Jade Manual is already in his hands. Given enough time, he even has a chance of becoming a true emperor. Furthermore, there's a high chance that the sect master of the academy has schemed an incredible game of chess this time round. Not only did he want the 3 Pure Ones Jade Manual, he wanted Zimo's creation Green Lotus and even my 6 Ren Divine calculation. Immortal Queen Ling Long recounted her speculation. Lin Zhan felt a lingering fear when he heard that.
If not for the appearance of the Emperor's tomb on the Wither Star and Su Zimo's warning before his death, Immortal Queen Ling Long might have been killed by the sect master of the academy.
Zimo, he. Lin Zhan had a grim expression as he asked in a low voice. Is there really no chance of him surviving after entering the Emperor's tomb? Immortal Queen Ling Long was silent. A moment later, Immortal Queen Ling Long said, something must have changed in the Emperor's tomb. Who knows, perhaps Zimo might be blessed by the heavens. Even Immortal Queen Ling Long did not have the confidence to say these words herself. Even if something changed in the Emperor's tomb, the curse inside was still there. As long as the curse of the Emperor's tomb was present, Su Zimo had no chance of survival. In the dark and cold void currents, a gigantic tomb floated quietly and drifted along to an unknown place. The moment Su Zimo charged into the Emperor's tomb, he could clearly sense a strange power enveloping him. That power was pervasive and had even seeped into his body, bloodline and sea of consciousness. It was the curse of the Emperor's tomb. The moment Su Zimo entered the Emperor's tomb, the power of the curse had already begun to release its might and corrode his flesh and essence spirit. Su Zimo's Green Lotus essence spirit was already on the verge of collapse. His essence spirit was wrapped in countless dark green threads of the Master Betrayal curse. Now that it was tainted by the curse of the Emperor's tomb, it was even more incurable. Unfortunately, a curse isn't like a poison where different poisons can counteract. Su Zimo laughed self-deprecatingly. His consciousness was already gradually sinking and his vision turned black. He only staggered forward instinctively. If not for the unimaginable life force of the Grade 12 creation Green Lotus that kept him alive as much as possible, he would not have been able to survive until now. I'm too tired. Su Zimo felt a wave of fatigue and his eyelids felt heavy. He only wanted to fall down and have a good sleep. There seemed to be a plop in his ears. Su Zimo fell to the ground. Through his blurry vision, he seemed to vaguely see a figure standing not far away. I must be hallucinating. Su Zimo was already a little delirious and his consciousness was starting to break down. Sigh. He seemed to have heard a deep sigh. He's tainted by 2 curses and can't be saved. What a pity. A voice seemed to sound from the horizon, extremely far away. That voice sounds familiar. That was Su Zimo's final thought. Thereafter, He lost consciousness. Hell World. Frost Springs Hell.
In the depths of the Frost Springs Palace, the martial Dao Prime body cultivated in seclusion in a secret chamber beside the Hell Frost Springs, silently sorting out the many sutras and secret manuals he had learned and seen over the years. In reality, before the 9 firmament meet, the martial Dao Prime body already had a hint of inspiration for the next dharmic formulation of the martial Dao. At the 9 firmament meet, the inspiration deepened when he saw the green halo that spread out when the builder tree woke up. The fierce battle outside the Frost Springs Palace that lasted for a day and night allowed his thoughts to finally take shape. Later on, through Consort Yu, the martial Dao Prime body translated the Yin-Yang Talisman Sutra and browsed through the general section and Frost Springs section of the 9 Springs Hell Sutra, reaping immense benefits. He had accumulated for many years for the next realm of the martial Dao. Now, everything was in place. After the perfected one realm, the 3 dharmic Daos of immortals, Buddhas and fiends would forcefully shatter the Dao fruit. They would use that power to condense a grotto heaven. However, for the dharmic formulation of the martial Dao, the foundation had always been to cultivate oneself. At the true martial realm, the prime body cultivated the true martial Dao body. Countless runic profundities that contained the martial Dao techniques were smelted on the bones and organs of the body. Through marrow cleansing, a complete transformation was achieved to create a powerful and invincible body, the true martial Dao body. As the martial Dao continued to advance, the runes and dharmic Daos deepened and their strength increased. Finally, at a certain limit, they would break through and spread out from the true martial Dao body. With the true martial Dao body as the center, a domain intertwined with dharmic Daos would be formed in the surroundings. That would be the next realm of the martial Dao, the martial domain realm. The power of this domain was definitely not a part of grotto heaven power. However, the martial domain realm corresponded to the grotto heaven realm of the immortal, Buddhist and fiend dharmic formulations. In the secret chamber. Suddenly, the martial Dao Prime body opened his eyes and an extremely terrifying aura burst forth from his body, as though he had broken through a bottleneck. His aura rose abruptly and reached another level. Immediately after, a few balls of flames emitted from the true martial Dao body and formed a blazing domain around the martial Dao Prime body, like purgatory. This scene was similar to when the martial Dao Prime body fought against the army of Frost Springs Hell alone outside the Frost Springs Palace. Any living being who stepped into this domain would be suppressed by the martial Dao Prime body and burned to ashes. This fiery purgatory was similar to the green halo of the builder tree. In this domain, the martial Dao Prime body was the only god. The entire secret chamber was enveloped by the martial Dao purgatory, and could not defend against that power at all. In the blink of an eye, it melted and turned into balls of hot molten iron. The martial Dao Prime body was exposed around the Hell Frost Springs once more. Even with the bone-chilling coldness of the Hell Frost Springs, it could not suppress the power of the martial Dao purgatory. Chapter 2704. 2704 Solutions. 2704 Solutions. The flames in the depths of the Frost Springs Palace caused quite a commotion. Many palace guards, including Consort Yu, Tang Kong and the others, arrived one after another and were shocked when they saw such a shocking scene. At that moment, the martial Dao Prime body was surrounded by flames intertwined with Dao and dharmic powers. He could actually fight against the power of the 9 springs of hell. The power of hot and cold extremities collided, creating a large fog. Most importantly, everyone could clearly sense that the martial Dao Prime body had become even stronger than before. Through the fog, beneath the silver mask of the martial Dao Prime body, his expression was dark and cold. Although he had taken the most critical step in the martial Dao, he could not be happy. That was because the moment he condensed his martial Dao domain, he seemed to have broken through some restriction barrier between the worlds and established a connection with the Green Lotus True Body. When he connected with the Green Lotus True Body, he received a lot of information at the same time. The Sect Master of the Academy was a Quasi-Emperor expert. Prior to this, the martial Dao Prime body could suppress supreme immortal kings with major grotto heavens with the essence martial grotto heaven derived from the true martial Dao body. Against a perfected grotto heaven immortal king, he was slightly inferior and needed to rely on the power of the Emperor realm weapon, the Hell Suppression Tripod. Now that the martial Tao prime body had cultivated this domain, his combat strength had increased exponentially.
Even without the help of the Hell Suppression Tripod, he could suppress a peak immortal king with a perfected grotto heaven. It was no exaggeration to say that the moment the martial Tao prime body advanced to the martial domain realm, he was invincible at the grotto heaven realm. Prior to this, the moment he summoned the essence martial grotto heaven, he would sense a powerful danger. But now that he had cultivated the martial Tao purgatory, he could temporarily break free from his reliance on the essence martial grotto heaven. Unless there was no other choice, there was no need to summon the essence martial grotto heaven. Of course, being invincible in the grotto heaven realm did not mean that he could fight against Quasi-Emperors. Although the prime body was the ancestor of the martial Tao, he was not strong enough to suppress a Quasi-Emperor the moment he advanced to the martial domain realm. A Quasi-Emperor was already half a step into the Emperor realm and had touched the power of the Emperor realm. The martial Tao prime body was unable to control that sort of power yet. As for his martial Tao domain, it was only at lesser mastery now. Of course, if he summoned the Hell Suppression Tripod, he might be able to fight against Quasi-Emperor experts. The situation of the Green Lotus True Body was extremely terrible. The connection between the two perfected immortals was only temporary. A moment later, the martial Tao prime body could no longer sense the Green Lotus True Body, and the barrier between the Hell World and the medium Kiliacosm was restored. The final information the martial Tao prime body received from his connection with the Green Lotus True Body was that the latter was tainted by 2 curses and staggered forward alone in the Emperor's tomb. The Green Lotus True Body could no longer hold on. Even the powerful vitality of the Grade 12 creation Green Lotus could not defend against the corrosion of the 2 curses. Even if the martial Tao prime body was still in the upper world, he would probably be helpless against the situation of the martial Tao prime body. Although the martial Tao was strong, it could not dispel curses. However, there was a way to dispel curses in the Hell world. In the ancient books the martial Tao prime body read in the North Ridge Palace, it was clearly recorded that the 9 springs of hell was not only the source of power for the 9 hells, but it also possessed various unbelievable powers. For example, the Hell Frost Springs could cause immense damage to water creatures. The Hell Yellow Springs, it could wash away the memories of living beings' previous lives and turn their souls blank. However, there was also the Boundless Springs in the 9 Springs of Hell. The water of the Boundless Springs could wash away curses. Any curse and filth would disappear and dissolve after being washed by the waters of the Boundless Springs. If he could send water from the Boundless Springs to the Green Lotus True Body, it would definitely help the latter resolve the 2 curses in his body. However, the martial Tao prime body was still trapped in the Hell world. He did not know how to return to the medium Kiliacosm, let alone bring water from the Boundless Springs back. I have to leave this place and return to the upper world. The martial Tao prime body took a deep breath and retracted his domain. In the blink of an eye, countless flames returned to the true martial Tao body. The martial Tao prime body did not know if it was too late for him to rush back now. However, no matter what, he had to leave the Hell world. He could only hope that the Grade 12 creation Green Lotus could hold on for a little longer. When the aura of the martial Tao prime body calmed down and the terrifying domain around him dissipated, Tang Kong hurried forward to greet and bow. Greetings, Lord Desolate Marshal. Even though he was the previous King North Ridge and current Hell Lord Frost Springs, he had to bow respectfully to the martial Tao prime body. That was because Tang Kong knew that his life, status and everything he had now came from this mysterious expert before him. The martial Tao prime body did not beat around the bush and asked bluntly, "Is there any way for me to return to the medium Kiliacosm?" Tang Kong lamented internally. The martial Tao prime body caused such a huge commotion in Frost Springs Hell and killed the former Hell Lord Frost Springs. Now, he was about to leave the Hell world. As for him, he would definitely face trouble as the new Hell Lord Frost Springs and would suffer a backlash. Furthermore, the battle a few days ago had already spread throughout the 9 hells. Right now, the Hell Lords of the other 8 hells were probably already gathered in the number 1 hell, Torment Springs Hell, to discuss how they should deal with the matter of Frost Springs Hell. Once there was a result on the side of Torment Springs Hell, Frost Springs Hell would probably be surrounded by the experts of the 8 hells. For the past few days, Tang Kong's heart had been in his throat and he was uneasy. When he heard the question of the martial Tao prime body, those thoughts flashed through Tang Kong's mind. He was stunned for a moment before saying, "Lord, there's a powerful restriction barrier between the Hell world and the medium Kiliacosm. It said that only the Lord of Hell back then could break through this barrier. Later on, the Dharma ending era arrived in the Hell world and the Lord of Hell disappeared as well. Ever since then, I've never heard of any living being that could head to the medium Kiliacosm." The martial Dao Prime Body said, "Perhaps there's a way in the other hells. Tang Kong was only King North Ridge of Frost Springs Hell in the past after all. There were some things that he might not know in detail." When Consort Yu heard that, she opened her mouth slightly and hesitated. "Why? What's the matter?" Sensing the change in Consort Yu's expression, the martial Dao Prime Body asked. Consort Yu hesitated for a moment and began, "I heard that for the past few days, experts of the 8 hells have been gathering in Torment Springs Hell to discuss the matter of Frost Springs Hell. If you want to leave the Hell world, you have to do it as soon as possible or it might be too late." The martial Dao Prime Body's heart skipped a beat as though he had comprehended something. Initially, he was contemplating how he should head to the other hells to find a way to leave the Hell world. It would indeed be a waste of time if he had to search them one by one. If he met with some obstacles in between, he might be delayed even further. Even if he really found a way to leave the Hell world, the Green Lotus True Body would probably have already died. Right now, the eyes of the martial Dao Prime Body lit up when he heard the news revealed by Consort Yu. "That's good." The martial Dao Prime Body nodded slightly. "The experts of the 8 hells are all in Torment Springs Hell. It saves me the trouble of searching for them one by one." Chapter 2705, 2705 Torment Spring City. 2705 Torment Spring City. Tang Kong, Tang Qing'er and the guards of Frost Springs Hell were dumbfounded. What was this person trying to do? On the one hand, he said he wanted to leave the Hell world as soon as possible. On the other hand, he wanted to go commit suicide. The power of almost the entire Hell world was gathered in Torment Springs Hell. What else was this person trying to do by running over if not suicide? Consort Yu was helpless and rolled her eyes at the martial Dao Prime Body, persuading, "Don't be rash yet. We have to think about this matter at length." In Consort Yu's opinion, even if the martial Dao Prime Body wanted to head to Torment Springs Hell, he had to make some preparations. He could probably try and gather the power of Frost Springs Hell before leading an army to Torment Springs Hell. That was the only way he might even have some bargaining chips. "There's no time." The martial Dao Prime Body shook his head gently. Consort Yu did not know the situation of the Green Lotus True Body. Furthermore, she did not know that the martial Dao Prime Body was not heading to Torment Springs Hell to negotiate at all. The martial Dao Prime Body was prepared to move immediately and head to Torment Springs Hell through the teleportation formation in the Frost Springs Palace. "Wait, I'll go with you." Consort Yu did not hesitate and followed hurriedly. No matter what, no matter how dangerous the situation ahead was, she wanted to stay with the martial Dao Prime Body. After all, the martial Dao Prime Body was her only old friend in the Hell world. Tang Kong was conflicted and had a fearful expression. Initially, he was only King North Ridge and was forced to this position by the martial Dao Prime Body. To be fair, with his combat strength, he was not strong enough to become Hell Lord Frost Springs. And now, experts of the entire Hell world were gathered in Torment Springs Hell. With his combat strength, he could not even cause a splash when thrown in. Tang Kong led many Frost Springs Hell guards and sent the martial Dao Prime Body and Consort Yu to the teleportation formation. When he saw that the martial Dao Prime Body had stepped onto the teleportation formation and was about to disappear, a decisive glint flashed through Tang Kong's eyes. He gritted his teeth and said, "Forget it, at most, I'll just die. It's not a waste of my life to be able to witness the grand gathering of the 8 hells before I die." Tang Kong's figure flashed and he stepped onto the teleportation formation at the same time. Beams of light burst forth from the teleportation formation and enveloped the figures of the martial Dao Prime Body, Consort Yu and Tang Kong. Accompanied by a burst of intense light, the 3 of them disappeared. Torment Springs Hell was known as the #1 hell of the 9 hells and was located in the central area of the Hell world. The previous Lord of Hell presided over Torment Springs Hell. Not only was he the Lord of Hell, he was also Hell Lord Torment Springs. However, after the death of the Lord of Hell, his position had remained empty until now. After entering the Dharma Ending era, the overall strength of the Hell world decreased continuously. Although there would be a Hell Lord Torment Springs in every generation, he could not become the Lord of Hell or convince the masses and rule over the 9 hells. As time passed, the number 1 hell lost its former glory and gradually declined, with its status becoming similar to the other 8 hells. Some time ago, a major piece of news came from Frost Springs Hell and shocked the Hell world. A living being of the medium Kiliacosm descended in Frost Springs Hell and killed Hell Lord Frost Springs before long, replacing him. That news instantly caused a huge commotion in the Hell world. Under the lead of the 8 Hell Lords, the experts of the various hells headed to Torment Springs Hell to discuss the matter of Frost Springs Hell. Over the past few days, Torment Springs Hell seemed to have regained its former glory and was extremely lively. There was a reason why the 8 Hell Lords chose to head to Torment Springs Hell. Firstly, they wanted to discuss the matter of Frost Springs Hells. Secondly, and most importantly, they wanted to choose a new Lord of Hell. Or rather, to the 8 Hell Lords, the matter of Frost Springs Hell was a small matter. However, the 8 Hells could make use of this matter to reunite the Hell world and choose a new Lord of Hell to rule the Hell world. In reality, many experts of Hell had had such thoughts over the years. However, there was no suitable opportunity. But now, the appearance of the martial Tao Prime Body delighted many experts of Hell. With this, it would be logical to choose a new Lord of Hell to unify the 9 hells and kill foreign living beings. Torment Springs City. Apart from the 8 Hell Lords, countless experts from the various hells descended here as well. As such, it was a little too crowded for Torment Springs Palace, and they could only shift this unprecedented event to Torment Springs City. In the middle of Torment Springs City, a gigantic black altar was built. There were a total of 9 positions on the altar, representing the 9 Hell Lords. Apart from the empty Frost Springs Hell, the other 8 Hell Lords were already sitting around the altar. Behind them stood countless experts of Hell, and Nether Kings and Hell Kings stood right at the front. The entire Torment Springs City was densely packed with countless living beings of Hell. Everyone. Hell Lord Torment Springs was a withered, gray-haired old man. At that moment he said slowly, "Over the past few days, everyone has suggested many countermeasures. However, we can't convince the masses as to who will be the Lord of Hell. At the end of the day, only someone with sufficiently strong combat strength can become the Lord of Hell and rule the Hell world." Hell Lord Yellow Springs said in a deep voice. Another old man with white hair who seemed to be older waved it off and smiled bitterly. "You guys can fight for it. I'm already so old, I won't get involved." This was Hell Lord Bitter Springs. Although Hell Lord Bitter Springs was old, no one had been able to shake his status in Bitter Springs Hell for many years. His methods and strength were evident. "In my opinion, the 8 of us should head to Frost Springs Hell now." Hell Lord Heavy Springs said in a deep voice, "Whoever can kill that foreign living being will be the Lord of Hell of this generation." Hee hee. Hell Lord Serene Springs gave a strange laugh. "Any one of the 8 of us can kill that foreign living being. That's not a fair suggestion." "Not necessarily." Hell Lord Boundless Springs said, "I heard that Hell Lord Frost Springs was killed by this person head-on. The combined strength of the entire Frost Springs Palace was unable to take him down as well." Hell Lord Torment Springs had a calm expression. "Everyone, we can't be careless indeed. This lad has an Emperor weapon called the Hell Suppression Tripod. It was the weapon of Great Emperor Infinite back then." At the mention of Great Emperor Infinite, the 8 Hell Lords present frowned, clearly wary. Hell Lord Torment Springs stood up. "I agree with that method. Whoever can kill this lad shall be the new Lord of Hell. What if 3 of us attack at the same time and kill him?" Hell Lord Ian Springs asked. Hell Lord Torment Springs said, "That's simple. The 3 people can fight for another round and the last person standing shall be the Lord of Hell." "I agree." "All right." The 8 Hell Lords agreed one after another. Right then, 3 people sped over from the direction of Torment Springs City. They were shockingly fast and arrived in the blink of an eye. Chapter 2706. 2706 One Punch. 27061 punch. Who is it? Around the altar, many Nether King and Hell King experts berated. Right now, the experts gathered in Torment Spring City were all powerhouses of the various hells with noble statuses. Right now, the 8 Hell Lords were discussing something important with an army gathered. How could anyone barge in on such an occasion? Furthermore, they were flying through the air and above the heads of the Nether King and Hell King experts. The leader wore a purple robe and a silver mask. His face could not be seen except for his eyes that were exceptionally cold and deep. Behind him was a Hell King expert. The other person was a woman whose cultivation realm was not high. She had yet to reach the level of a Nether general. However, she was beautiful and had a graceful figure. The moment she appeared, everyone was stunned. Many Nether King and Hell King experts looked up. Most of their gazes landed on the beautiful woman instead. Some Nether King and Hell King experts who had been berating loudly earlier on seemed to have lost their anger at that moment as they stared fixedly at the beautiful woman. The 8 Hell Lords looked over and their eyes lit up when they saw the woman. Suddenly, Hell Lord Boundless Springs smiled and surveyed his surroundings, saying slowly, "I want this woman. I hope everyone won't fight with me for her. After so many years, you're still the same." Hell Lord Bitter Springs sneered. The other Hell Lords were not surprised by Hell Lord Boundless Springs' reaction either. Among the 9 Hell Lords, Hell Lord Boundless Springs was famous for being lecherous. There were 100,000 beauties in his harem in Boundless Springs Hell. Lords, be careful. He's Desolate Marshal from the medium Kiliacosm. Right then in the crowd below the altar, a Hell King suddenly reminded loudly, "He's the one who killed Hell Lord Frost Springs and occupied Frost Springs Hell." Apart from the experts of the 8 Hells, there were also some living beings who escaped from Frost Springs Hell. That Hell King was one of them. The moment that voice sounded, it was like a stone that stirred up 1,000 levels of waves and caused a huge commotion in the crowd. What? He's Desolate Marshal? How dare that person come here? He only brought 2 people. He really has a death wish. Instantly, a commotion broke out in the crowd. At the same time, the expressions of the 8 Hell Lords changed slightly and their gazes towards the Martial Dao Prime Body and the other 2 gradually changed, revealing a stern killing intent. The Martial Dao Prime Body was expressionless, as though he could not feel any pressure. As for Tang Kong, who was following behind the Martial Dao Prime Body, although he was a Hell King expert, he still felt an unprecedented pressure against the black mass of Nether Kings and Hell Kings below. Countless experts of Hell were eager to make a move. If not for the presence of the 8 Hell Lords, the group of Hell experts would have swarmed forward and torn them into pieces. A hint of fear appeared in the depths of Consort Yu's eyes as well. This scene was way too terrifying. Any one of these experts from the 8 Hells gathered here in Torment Spring City were all stronger than her. Every living being of Hell exuded an incomparably powerful aura. With so many experts of Hell gathered together, they formed a terrifying aura that made one's heart palpitate. Any living being who entered this aura would feel fear involuntarily. Consort Yu's face turned even paler. However, she did not retreat and merely followed closely behind the Martial Dao Prime Body. Everyone calm down. Hell Lord Torment Springs pressed his hands together and smiled gently. Since guests are here, we naturally have to express our friendliness. Hoo! Hoo! Many Hell experts raised their weapons that shone with a cold glint and let out strange cries with excited expressions. Everyone was looking forward to seeing what would happen to this outsider. In the blink of an eye, the Martial Dao Prime Body arrived on the altar with Tang Kong and Consort Yu and landed on the empty seat that belonged to Hell Lord Frost Springs. You're just in time. Hell Lord Ian Springs grinned, revealing his sharp fangs. We're discussing the selection of a new Lord of Hell. Do you want to join in as well? Not interested. The Martial Dao Prime Body said indifferently. The 8 Hell Lords were stunned for a moment before exchanging glances and bursting into laughter. The crowd below the altar hooted as well. Many Hell experts looked at the Martial Dao Prime Body on the altar as though they were watching a joke who did not realize what was about to happen. The gaze of the Martial Dao Prime Body shifted and swept past the 8 Hell Lords. He went straight to the point and asked, I want to return to the medium Kiliacosm. Do any of you have a solution? Ha 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 ha. This time round, even louder laughter broke out before the 8 Hell Lords could speak. Is there something wrong with this person's head? He wants to return to the medium kiliacosm?
Hey, masked person. Think about how to survive first.
Someone laughed loudly.
Tiske, look at how different the tone of the people from the medium kiliacosm are.
Are they questioning or asking for guidance? The 8 Hell Lords had different expressions as well. However, they looked at the martial Tao prime body with similar gazes. In the eyes of the 8 Hell Lords, the martial Tao prime body was already a dead man. Hell Lord Boundless Spring's gaze lingered on Consort Yu almost non-stop. At that moment, Hell Lord Boundless Springs could not wait any longer. He stood up and waved his hand. I'll leave this person to you guys. I'll take this woman away and have some fun first. When she saw Hell Lord Boundless Springs walking over, Consort Yu hid behind the martial Tao prime body instinctively.
Under Hell Lord Boundless Spring's gaze, she felt as though she was naked and extremely uncomfortable. Hell Lord Boundless Springs walked towards Consort Yu and ignored the martial Tao prime body at the side, reaching out to grab her. Suddenly, the martial Tao prime body raised his hand. Although Hell Lord Boundless Springs looked nonchalant, most of his attention was on the martial Tao prime body, afraid that the latter would suddenly attack. At that moment, when he sensed the attack of the martial Tao prime body, Hell Lord Boundless Springs smiled smugly. This was his plan. On the surface, he was doing it for Consort Yu. However, in reality, he wanted to force the martial Tao prime body to attack. That way, he could kill the martial Tao prime body right away and become the Lord of Hell. The moment those thoughts appeared in Hell Lord Boundless Spring's mind, he realized that something was amiss. The speed and power of the martial Tao prime body's punch was way too powerful. In fact, it was so powerful that he could not dodge, defend or feel fear. What kind of punch was that? How could such power appear in the Hell world? Hell Lord Boundless Spring's smile froze on his face. Bang! The martial Tao prime body punched Hell Lord Boundless Spring's head with a tremendous force, shattering it and destroying his essence spirit. Hell Lord Boundless Springs died on the spot. Chapter 2707 2707 Great Battle 2707 Great Battle. It was too fast. It was way too sudden. No one present expected the martial Tao prime body to take the initiative to attack under such circumstances while he was surrounded by countless experts of Hell. Furthermore, he took the initiative to attack one of the 8 Hell Lords, Hell Lord Boundless Springs. The moment he attacked, it was a killing move without any intention of holding back. The entire Torment Spring City fell into a dead silence. The laughter and clamor earlier on suddenly vanished at that moment. All the living beings of Hell widened their eyes in disbelief. Hell Lord Boundless Springs, one of the 8 Hell Lords, had ruled over Boundless Springs Hell for hundreds of thousands of years and was at the top of the Hell world. Yet, he died in Torment Spring City just like that. His head was smashed by a single punch and he died without even having the chance to retaliate. How was that possible? Even though they witnessed it with their own eyes, many living beings of Hell could not believe it. Hell Lord Boundless Springs must have been too careless. That thought flashed through the minds of many experts of Hell. However, in reality, the other 7 Hell Lords sitting on the altar were closer and could see more clearly. Hell Lord Boundless Springs' death was not due to carelessness. It was not as though Hell Lord Boundless Springs did not resist when the martial Tao prime body attacked. He wanted to dodge and defend. However, he could not do so and was killed by a single punch. It was only at that moment that the 7 Hell Lords put away their contempt and had grim expressions. Kill! Almost at the same time, 4 of the 7 Hell Lords stood out. Hell Lord Een Springs, Hell Lord Lower Springs, Hell Lord Serene Springs and Hell Lord Yellow Springs released powerful bloodlines one after another and charged towards Xueqi. Although the 4 Hell Lords were all from the Nether race, their true forms were different. Among them, Hell Lord Yellow Springs' true form was that of a dragon. He transformed into a dragon and circled above the altar. His gigantic dragon body exuded endless might and his claws were sharp as he charged towards Xueqi with a terrifying aura. Hell Lord Serene Springs was an agile leopard who circled around the martial Tao prime body continuously, waiting for an opportunity to strike.
Hell Lord Qimen Spring's true form was extremely similar to humans. However, he was almost transparent and was hidden in the battlefield, faintly discernible. Hell Lord Lower Springs was a gigantic 1000D centipede. Its entire body seemed to be cast from steel and its 1000 feet slithered, leaving a string of sparks on the stone slabs of the altar. Among the 4 Hell Lords, Hell Lord Lower Springs was the first to arrive. The 1000 feet moved at a shocking speed and arrived before the martial Dao Prime body in the blink of an eye. The gigantic centipede feelers tore through the air and were as thick as arms, like 2 tough iron chains that coiled around the martial Dao Prime body instantly. Hell Lord Lower Springs was delighted. Even experts of the same cultivation realm could not break free from his 2 feelers. With that single move he had the upper hand. When Hell Lord Lower Springs saw that the martial Dao Prime body was restrained, he closed in hurriedly and raised his head, revealing his gigantic and malevolent fangs, wanting to grind the martial Dao Prime body into pieces and devour him. Boom! Right then, the blood qi in the martial Dao Prime body's body surged and he shuddered. The centipede feelers that were originally wrapped around him snapped instantly and shattered into several segments that scattered on the ground. The martial Dao Prime body, who had just escaped, suddenly raised his foot and stomped heavily on the 1000D centipede below. That kick used the Dermic Dao of the Plough Heaven stride of the mystic classic of the 12 demon kings of the great wilderness. When Hell Lord Lower Springs realized that something was amiss and wanted to dodge, it was already too late. No matter how he dodged, he could not escape from the Dermic Dao range of the martial Dao Prime body's Plough Heaven stride. The foot of the martial Dao Prime body stomped down and exploded Hell Lord Lower Springs' body instantly. The body of the 1000D centipede was broken into 2, and a large amount of nauseating blood spewed out. The 2 halves of his body twisted continuously on the altar, and Hell Lord Lower Springs let out an ear-piercing tragic cry. Prior to this, Hell Lord Lower Springs had held back. However, at that moment, he was severely injured and his life was on the line. He no longer dared to hide and released his bloodline phenomenon. A large amount of surging spring water appeared beneath him, and some corpses could vaguely be seen washing towards the martial Dao. Bloodline phenomenon, Hell Lower Springs. On the other side, Hell Lord Yellow Springs, Hell Lord Serene Springs and Hell Lord Qimen Springs did not dare to hesitate and released their bloodline phenomenons one after another. Hell Yellow Springs, Hell Serene Springs, Hell Qimen Springs and Hell Lower Springs. The 4 great springs surged at the same time. Instantly, the spring water on the altar of Torment Spring City surged and spread in all directions, as though it had formed a gigantic torrent that wanted to devour and drown everything. Only living beings of the Nether race could awaken such bloodline phenomenons. All of these Hell Lords were existences who had cultivated their bloodline phenomenons to the limits. Every single bloodline phenomenon released a Dermic Dao of their own Hell Spring waters. That was also the foundation of the Hell world. When the 4 Hell Spring phenomenons were released, many living beings of Hell thought that the battle was over. No living being would be able to survive the impact of the 4 Hell Spring phenomenons. Rumble! Right then, a deafening bang sounded from the body of the martial Dao Prime body. Immediately after, the figure of the martial Dao Prime body seemed to have vanished and was replaced by a gigantic furnace that was burning red. Raging flames burned inside and outside the furnace, emitting a searing heat. What a joke! To think that he would release a fire-type bloodline phenomenon against the Hellspring phenomenons. He's truly asking to be humiliated. Fire and water were irreconcilable. The 9 Hellspring phenomenons were water-based. However, the phenomenon condensed by the martial Dao Prime body was clearly fire-based. In the hearts of all the living beings of Hell, the 9 springs of Hell were their holy springs and no flames could match them. The commotion below had just sounded when it dissipated rapidly and eventually fell silent. Right in front of countless living beings of Hell, the furnace with raging flames wrapped in the 4 Hell springs and showed no signs of extinguishing. On the contrary, the flames inside intensified. The temperature on the altar rose as well. The water of the 4 Hell springs began to steam under the burning of the raging flames. Before long, bubbles appeared and boiled. Pest! The 4 Hell springs were burning. What bloodline did this person have? There were 3 Hell Lords on the altar who had yet to attack. Hell Lord Torment Springs, Hell Lord Heavy Springs and Hell Lord Bitter Springs. Initially, The three Hell Lords had calm expressions, as though they did not care about this battle.
However, when they saw that, the three Hell Lords frowned.
This cultivator from the medium Kiliacosm seemed to be even more troublesome than they had imagined. The bloodline phenomenon of the martial Tao prime body, the heaven and earth furnace.
Under the continuous activation of the martial Tao prime body, the power of the heaven and earth furnace became even more ferocious.
After the martial Tao entered the martial domain realm, the power of the bloodline phenomenon rose to an even higher level as well.
Phew!
The flames burned fiercely.
Not only did the water from the 4 hell springs in the surrounding burn, they had even begun to evaporate.
Chapter 2708. 2708 Might of Hell. 2708 Might of Hell. The reason why the Nether race could rule over all living beings of Hell in the Hell world was because of their special bloodline. That bloodline power came from the 9 springs of Hell.
In the minds of all living beings of Hell, the bloodline of the Nether race was invincible.
Only the bloodline of the Nether race could defeat the bloodline of the Nether race. The Hell Lords had even stronger bloodlines of the Nether race and were almost unstoppable. But now, someone was suppressing the 4 Hell Lords with his bloodline phenomenon. In reality, the news and situation of the battle at Frost Springs Palace had long spread to the Hell Lords.
They had a rough understanding of the combat strength of the martial Tao prime body as well. In that battle back then, the reason why the martial Tao prime body could kill Hell Lord Frost Springs was entirely because he seized the initiative and made use of the Emperor weapon, the Hell Suppression Tripod.
In other words, Desolate Marshal's combat strength was at most on par with Hell Lord Frost Springs. Under such circumstances where 4 Hell Lords joined forces, even if Desolate Marshal summoned the Hell Suppression Tripod, he would definitely not be able to defend against their attacks. However, the scene before them shocked the 4 Hell Lords. Desolate Marshal's combat strength was clearly much stronger than what was mentioned. After the martial Tao prime body entered the martial domain realm, he did not stop at all and charged to Torment Springs Hell. The living beings of Hell here did not know about this at all. The 8 Hell Lords did not have time to react either.
By the time they sensed this, the battle between the two sides had already broken out.
Hell Lord Boundless Springs was the first to die. The 4 Hell Lords were clearly at a disadvantage in the battle against the martial Tao prime body. Hell Lord Torment Springs, Hell Lord Heavy Springs and Hell Lord Bitter Springs, who had been watching from the sidelines the entire time, exchanged glances with strange expressions and did not choose to step forward to help. The strength of Desolate Marshal had indeed exceeded their expectations and was a little troublesome. However, it was not to the point of being uncontrollable. If they could make use of Desolate Marshal to get rid of the other 4 Hell Lords, there would be fewer variables and trouble. Seeing that the 4 Hell Spring bloodline phenomenons could collapse at any moment, the 4 Hell Lords did not dare to hesitate and released their perfected grotto heavens hurriedly. The 4 Hell Lords joined forces and attacked the martial Tao prime body once more. Because the Hell world was shattered and the heaven and earth laws were incomplete, the 4 Hell Lords were unable to touch the Emperor realm. However, they had long cultivated perfected grotto heavens. Their grotto heavens accumulated a tremendous amount of power and surged with auras that could devour mountains and rivers. The heaven and earth furnace of the martial Tao prime body was clearly suppressed against the impact of the 4 perfected grotto heavens. The flames inside and outside the furnace contracted continuously and flickered. They were no longer as searing as before. The martial Tao prime body had a calm expression as he willed his consciousness and said softly, "Martial Tao Purgatory."
Phew!
Instantly, a scarlet halo burst forth from the body of the martial Tao prime body. Countless mysterious runes condensed on it and enveloped the 4 Hell Lords and their perfected grotto heavens. The scarlet halo exploded with a bang, forming a gigantic domain of flames that was interwoven with countless dermic arts. The entire altar turned into a sea of flames instantly. In this martial Tao purgatory, there was the Red Lotus Comic Fire, Martial Spirit Fire, Tribulation Fire, Dragon Phoenix Flame and Hellfire. The 5 supreme flames intertwined and finally formed this terrifying domain. Every single inch of space in this domain contained the dermic arts and will of the martial Tao. The perfected grotto heavens were enveloped by the martial Tao purgatory and could not hold on for long. Crack! Crack! The 4 perfected grotto heavens were burned red. The coldness in the grotto heavens had long disappeared and flames even darted out. Large cracks appeared both inside and outside the grotto heavens and countless scarlet flames burst forth. Bang, 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 bang. With 4 consecutive bangs, the 4 perfected grotto heavens collapsed. Hiss hiss. Hell Lord Lower Springs 2 halves rolled continuously in the martial Tao purgatory and flames spewed from his wounds as he let out a tragic cry. He had just been severely injured by the martial Tao prime body, and his body was crushed. Now that he was burned by the martial Tao purgatory and lost the protection of his perfected grotto heaven, he could not hold on any more. In the blink of an eye, he fell silent and lay motionless on the ground. His originally pitch-black and cold carapace had already turned red from the heat. After more than 10 breaths, it gradually melted. To think that the great Hell Lord Lower Springs would meet with such a tragic end. His essence spirit was destroyed without a corpse left. The remaining 3 Hell Lords did not have it easy either. Initially, Hell Lord Een Spring's true form was hiding in the dark, prepared to wait for an opportunity to attack. However, once the martial Tao prime body's domain was released, he was burned by countless flames and had nowhere to hide. Among the 4 Hell Lords, his bloodline and body were relatively weak. If even Hell Lord Lower Springs could not defend against the martial Tao purgatory, he stood no chance.
In less than 10 breaths, he was burned to ashes by the martial Tao purgatory.
Hell Lord Serene Springs transformed into a phantom leopard. Seeing that he was no match for the other party, he wanted to escape before his grotto heaven collapsed. However, the domain was not a place where he could enter and leave at will. Hell Lord Serene Springs wanted to escape from the martial Tao purgatory, but he bumped into the barrier outside the domain and was stopped. He charged continuously and released all his trump cards, wanting to break through the barrier. However, as time passed, his perfected grotto heaven collapsed and his strength depleted rapidly. In the end, Hell Lord Serene Springs was burned to death at the edge of the martial Tao purgatory. Before he died, his eyes widened as he looked outside the altar, filled with fear and indignation. The dragon body that Hell Lord Yellow Springs transformed into wandered above the nearly dry Yellow Springs, lasting the longest.
Seeing that there was no way out, Hell Lord Yellow Springs let out a resounding dragon roar and charged towards the martial Tao prime body.
Since there was no way out, he could only fight to the end. Hell Lord Yellow Springs was covered in flames as he charged forward. His gigantic dragon head lowered slightly and he raised a pair of tough dragon horns, charging towards the martial Tao prime body. Dragon horns were the toughest part of the dragon body. This was Hell Lord Yellow Springs' desperate attempt. Even grotto heaven dermic treasures would be shattered by him. Right in front of many living beings of hell, the martial Tao prime body standing on the altar was as insignificant as an ant compared to the gigantic dragon head of Hell Lord Yellow Springs. However, the moment the 2 of them collided, the entire world seemed to have fallen silent. Everyone widened their eyes and looked at the scene in disbelief. There was no earth-shaking collision. Hell Lord Yellow Springs charged over and the martial Tao prime body raised his hand slowly. He extended his palm and grabbed the indestructible dragon horn in front of everyone. Just like that, the massive body of Hell Lord Yellow Springs stopped in midair and could not advance an inch.
To be able to defend against Hell Lord Yellow Springs' mighty charge bare-handed with a body of flesh and blood, what kind of terrifying power was that?
Many living beings of hell were shocked. Before everyone could react, the martial Tao prime body raised his hand once more, clenched his fist and smashed down. Crack! The head of Hell Lord Yellow Springs was shattered by a single punch from the martial Tao prime body, and his essence spirit was destroyed, dying on the spot. In the blink of an eye, the 4 Hell Lords were dead. Chapter 2709 2709 3 Great Quasi-Emperors 2709 3 Great Quasi-Emperors. In Torment Spring City, experts of the 8 hells gathered. The living beings of hell were dense and spread out of the city, covering the mountains and plains innumerable. But now, the 4 Hell Lords had died in front of so many living beings of hell just like that. The visual and mental impact was way too great. Many living beings of hell could not react in time and were stunned on the spot. On the altar, in the martial Tao purgatory, apart from the martial Tao prime body, Tang Kong and consort Yu were also present. Although they were also in this domain, only the 4 Hell Lords died tragically on the spot. Tang Kong and consort Yu were unharmed. This was the power of the martial Tao prime body's meticulous control of the domain. Tang Kong was invigorated. Although he knew that the combat strength of the martial Tao prime body would increase greatly after his breakthrough, he did not expect it to reach that level. What kind of power is this? Hell Lord Torment Springs frowned slightly. This doesn't seem to be a grotto heaven or any dermic Tao of the medium Kiliacosm. Hell Lord Heavy Springs stood up slowly and removed the gigantic axe on his back. He grinned at the martial Tao prime body. No matter what dermic Tao it is, you have to die here today to accompany them. Hell Lord Bitter Springs sighed. At my age, I was initially unwilling to care about this matter. However, you killed someone from hell. I can't sit back and do nothing. Do you think that you can kill wantonly without restrictions just because the hell world is in the Dharma ending era? Hell Lord Torment Springs waved it off. There's no need to talk to him. Let him see our true strength. The moment he said that, Hell Lord Torment Springs, Hell Lord Heavy Springs and Hell Lord Bitter Springs released their grotto heavens at the same time and suppressed the domain of the martial Tao prime body. The moment the grotto heavens of the 3 Hell Lords were released, the martial Tao prime body sensed that something was amiss. There was clearly an even more terrifying power hidden in the grotto heavens of the 3 of them, causing their grotto heavens to transform to another level. This is... Tang Kong also sensed the power fluctuation contained in the grotto heavens of the 3 Hell Lords and his expression changed starkly as he exclaimed, Quasi-Emperor. There was already a trace of world power cultivated in the grotto heavens of the 3 Hell Lords. This also meant that the 3 Hell Lords were half a step into the Emperor realm and were already Quasi-Emperors. That's right. Hell Lord Heavy Springs grinned smugly. The reason why the 3 Hell Lords were so confident and calm was because they had something powerful to rely on. The world is shattered, the great Tao is damaged and the laws are incomplete. How can you guys? Tang Kong was still in disbelief with a shocked expression. The Emperor realm was not something that could be achieved by cultivating with abundant resources. Which of them kings who could cultivate to the grotto heaven realm did not have endless resources? However, how many people could step into the Emperor realm in the end? The main point of the Emperor realm was to control world power. In order to transform one's grotto heaven into a world, one first had to comprehend the world they were in. They had to sense the motions of the world and comprehend the many laws. Only by continuously fusing those insights into one's grotto heaven and accumulating them could they cause it to transform and condense a world. Grotto heaven experts of the medium Kiliacosm had to comprehend and compare against the medium Kiliacosm. After the Hell world entered the Dharma ending era, the reason why no Emperor realm experts were born was because this world was shattered and the great Tao was damaged with incomplete laws. This was an incomplete world, so how could they comprehend the true world? Therefore, although the Hell Lords controlled almost endless cultivation resources, they could not advance to the Emperor realm. The fact that Hell Lord Torment Springs, Hell Lord Heavy Springs and Hell Lord Yellow Springs could comprehend a trace of world power even with the shattered world was practically the limit of what they could do. It was no exaggeration to say that if the 3 Hell Lords were thrown into the medium Kiliacosm, they would be able to advance to the Emperor realm very quickly and become true emperors. The martial Tao prime body frowned slightly. 3 Quasi-Emperor experts had indeed exceeded his expectations. With his current lesser mastery of the martial Tao domain, he was still unable to fight against the grotto heavens of Quasi-Emperors. He should be able to fight against a single Quasi-Emperor using the Hell Suppression Tripod. However, now that 3 Quasi-Emperors attacked at the same time, the pressure on the martial Tao prime body increased exponentially. If he did not know what happened to the Green Lotus true body, the martial Tao prime body could have made other choices such as leaving with Tang Kong and consort Yu first to avoid the Quasi-Emperors. Although the 3 Quasi-Emperors were powerful, it was impossible for them to stop him. But now, it was unknown if the Green Lotus true body was dead or alive. The longer this dragged on, the more dangerous it would be for the Green Lotus true body. Boom, boom, boom. The 3 Hell Lords did not give the martial Tao prime body much time to catch his breath at all. The 3 Quasi-Emperor grotto heavens charged continuously and attacked the martial Tao purgatory. More than half of the flames in the martial Tao purgatory were extinguished. The range of the martial Tao domain shrank continuously as well. The spirit consciousness of the martial Tao prime body moved and an ancient bronze square tripod flew out from his glabella, emitting a shuddering might. The moment the hell suppression tripod descended, the grotto heavens of the three hell lords were clearly suppressed.
Gore. Roar. Shriek. Hiss.
Immediately after, the four sacred souls on the hell suppression tripod woke up and fell off, surrounding Hell Lord Heavy Springs. At the same time, the martial Tao prime body targeted Hell Lord Heavy Springs as well. If he wanted to break out of the situation, he had to use all his strength to kill one of the Hell Lords first. Hell Lord Heavy Springs was Su Zimo's first target.
You want to kill me?
Hell Lord Heavy Springs could tell Su Zimo's intentions as well and grinned fearlessly. Instead, he charged over with his gigantic axe with a torrential aura. The martial Tao prime body moved and welcomed it.
Splash.
The sound of a tsunami sounded from the bodies of the three Hell Lords at the same time. The bloodline phenomenons of the three Hell Lords were released as well. The grotto heavens and bloodline phenomenons of three Quasi-Emperors descended at the same time. The martial Tao purgatory that was already shaky could not defend against them at all.
Shing. 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 Shing.
The flames in the martial Tao purgatory were washed away by the three hell springs and extinguished instantly. The figure of the martial Tao prime body was exposed to the attacks of the three hell lords. On the other side, the four sacred souls had already arrived beside Hell Lord Heavy Springs. The azure dragon coiled, the white tiger bit, the vermilion bird burned and the black tortoise charged. The four sacred souls did not defend or dodge. Under the urging of the martial Tao prime body, they released their strongest attacks and tore a crack in Hell Lord Heavy Springs' grotto heaven by sacrificing themselves. The gaze of the martial Tao prime body intensified as he charged through the crack. However, apart from the protection of a Quasi-Emperor grotto heaven, Hell Lord Heavy Springs also had the bloodline phenomenon of Hell Heavy Springs. The martial Tao prime body ignored the corrosive damage of Hell Heavy Springs and relied on his powerful true martial Tao body to break through the spring and arrive before Hell Lord Heavy Springs.
Good timing.
Hell Lord Heavy Springs had a ferocious gaze and had no intention of dodging. He raised his gigantic axe and slashed towards the head of the martial Tao prime body. At the same time, Hell Lord Torment Springs and Hell Lord Yellow Springs had already arrived behind the martial Tao prime body with two Quasi-Emperor grotto heavens and bloodline phenomenons. Chapter 2710 2710 Tao Body Shattered. 2710 Tao Body Shattered. The martial Tao prime body ignored the attacks of Hell Lord Torment Springs and Hell Lord Yellow Springs behind him and glared at Hell Lord Heavy Springs with a burning gaze.
It was impossible to break the alliance of the three of them unscathed.
The only way he could turn the situation around was by taking risks. Furthermore, the martial Tao prime body believed in the strength of the true martial Tao body. He trusted that he could withstand a single blow from Hell Lord Torment Springs and Hell Lord Yellow Springs. Naturally, Hell Lord Heavy Springs would not retreat against the murderous martial Tao prime body. Firstly, he was a Quasi-Emperor expert and did not have to cower in fear. Secondly, the only way he would lose was if the martial Tao prime body killed him within a breath. Otherwise, even if Desolate Martial did not die, he would be severely injured when the attacks of Hell Lord Torment Springs and Hell Lord Yellow Springs descended. At that time, he would take the opportunity to counterattack and kill this person on the spot. Against Hell Lord Heavy Springs' gigantic axe, the martial Tao prime body did not dodge or even defend. In fact, he chose to summon the Hell Suppression tripod and smashed it towards Hell Lord Heavy Springs' head. He went on the offensive against their attacks without holding back.
What a lunatic!
Hell Lord Heavy Springs cursed internally. It was clear that Desolate Martial was going at it with his life. In his opinion, the martial Tao prime body knew that he would not be able to escape death. That was the reason why he was so crazy and wanted to take him down before he died.
A life for a life.
Hell Lord Heavy Springs did not want to die. If he was killed by the martial Tao prime body, Hell Lord Torment Springs and Hell Lord Yellow Springs would stand to gain in the end. Furthermore, in the current situation, the three of them had the upper hand with their Quasi-Emperor cultivation realms. There was no need for him to take this risk. The moment those thoughts flashed through his mind, Hell Lord Heavy Spring's aura naturally weakened. The gaze of the martial Tao prime body intensified and his eyes burned with two purple flames. That opening was almost undetectable. Even if somebody could sense it, it would be difficult for them to pose any substantial threat to Hell Lord Heavy Springs. However, the martial Tao prime body would not let go of such an opportunity. Suddenly, he opened his mouth and released a deafening myriad beings sound. Roar! Instantly, it was as though millions of living beings were shouting in Hell Lord Heavy Springs' ears. The impact was way too strong and sudden. Hell Lord Heavy Springs shuddered and felt his ears buzz. His consciousness paused for a moment and the gigantic axe in his hand was a tad slower as well. Under normal circumstances, even a perfected Grotto Heaven Immortal King expert would most likely die from the roar of the myriad beings sound of the martial Tao prime body at such a distance. However, Hell Lord Heavy Springs was a Quasi-Emperor expert after all. In the blink of an eye, he snapped back to his senses. Right then, a shadow descended before his eyes. It was already too late for him to retreat and dodge. Crack! The Hell Suppression tripod smashed down violently and struck the top of Hell Lord Heavy Spring's head with the sound of bones cracking. Even the body of a Quasi-Emperor could not defend against the Emperor weapon, the Hell Suppression tripod. Hell Lord Heavy Spring's head was shattered by the Hell Suppression tripod and his essence spirit was destroyed. The entire process happened in an instant. That instant was all that mattered in a fight between top experts. The moment the martial Tao prime body released the myriad beings sound and summoned the Hell Suppression tripod to smash Hell Lord Heavy Springs to death, the attacks of Hell Lord Torment Springs and Hell Lord Yellow Springs had already descended on him. Under the siege of the three Quasi-Emperors, the martial Tao prime body would definitely pay the price for killing Hell Lord Heavy Springs forcefully. Two Quasi-Emperor Grotto Heavens and Bloodline phenomenons struck the true martial Tao body. The martial Tao prime body shuddered and spat out a mouthful of blood. The true martial Tao body almost exploded and his clothes were torn. Terrifying blood scars appeared on the surface of his body and a terrifying power was still raging in his body. If not for the fact that the martial Tao prime body used the martial Tao furnace and martial Tao techniques to temper this true martial Tao body all year round, that single move would have been enough to destroy his essence spirit. He's not dead yet. A look of shock and fear flashed through the eyes of Hell Lord Torment Springs and Hell Lord Yellow Springs as well. Even if the two of them were in his shoes, they might not be able to defend against such a terrifying power. Of course, Hell Lord Torment Springs and Hell Lord Yellow Springs reacted extremely quickly and made a prompt decision, not giving the martial Tao prime body any chance to catch his breath. After the two Quasi-Emperor Grotto Heavens and two Bloodline phenomenons, their Quasi-Emperor weapons descended at the same time. Hell Lord Torment Springs waved a pitch-black sword in his hands. Sharp barbs grew on the spine of the sword like the fangs of a gigantic beast. Hell Lord Yellow Springs waved a withered yellow staff and the aura of the Yellow Springs filled the air. The pitch-black sword descended from the skies and slashed through the body of the martial Tao prime body. The true martial Tao body had just almost collapsed and exploded. Now that it was slashed by Hell Lord Torment Springs' Quasi-Emperor weapon, it could not defend and was sliced into two. The withered yellow staff pointed forward and a gigantic yellow torrent struck the remnant body of the martial Tao prime body. The immense power shattered the true martial Tao body into pieces and a blood mist burst forth. It was over. When Hell Lord Torment Springs and Hell Lord Yellow Springs saw that, they heaved a sigh of relief.
The hearts of the two of them skipped a beat when they saw that the body of the martial Tao prime body could withstand the full-powered attack of the two of them and not die.
Fortunately, this person was severely injured and was at the end of his rope. That was the reason why he was killed by their weapons. A look of sorrow and pity flashed through Tang Kong's eyes before there was only calmness left. He had long expected this day and was mentally prepared. As long as the martial Tao prime body died, he would definitely be buried with him. Consort Yu looked at this scene in a daze and her mind went blank. The many living beings of hell around the altar finally snapped out of their stupor and shouted one after another. Of course, among the experts of the 8 hells, there were many with conflicted expressions. Indeed, the hell world won this battle. However, the price paid for this outsider of the medium Kiliacosm was way too great. Of the 9 hell lords, only 2 were still alive and the rest were already dead. This was equivalent to the 9 hells experiencing a huge bloodbath. The living beings of hell below the altar cheered continuously. However, before long, the cheers gradually died down. In the end, there was complete silence. All the living beings of hell widened their eyes and looked at the scene on the altar in disbelief. Hell Lord Torment Springs and Hell Lord Yellow Springs had long noticed the abnormality. After Desolate Marshal died earlier on, his shattered body vanished strangely. Right where he died, a gigantic dark grotto heaven appeared. However, there was clearly a life force in the gloom grotto heaven.
Well, she's not dead.
Hell Lord Torment Springs and Hell Lord Yellow Springs had bewildered expressions as they stared fixedly at the dark grotto heaven not far away. Even with the knowledge of the 2 Hell Lords, they did not understand what was going on. A minor grotto heaven. The 2 Hell Lords probed and felt relieved. Hell Lord Torment Springs sneered. Stop with the pretense. So what if you've transformed into a grotto heaven? I'll just kill you again. You're tuning in to the Xueqi's Martial Arts Saga YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.